Hey, welcome to Firescale Audiobooks. If you're enjoying the stories, we'd love it if you subscribe to the channel. And if you have a moment, drop your thoughts in the comments. We'd really appreciate hearing from you.
Now, if your little magic trick is over, would you like to dance? Someone's familiar and polite voice asked. Arnold turned around to see Alice, El, and a few others were standing behind them. It was Alice who had invited him to dance. Sorry, but I'm busy, Arnold replied and turned his back on them. Arnold, we just want to talk. El spoke up. Arnold ignored them and continued chatting with Nathan like nothing happened. The others, however, kept standing there. Soon everyone in the club started noticing this, which made Nathan uncomfortable. Nathan couldn't take it anymore and blurted out, "Go and see what they want. I don't want any drama here, okay? Sorry for the trouble. I'll be back soon." Arnold apologized and turned towards his former guildmates. "What do you guys want? Can a guy have a peaceful evening without you breathing down on his neck? Look, we know that you think that the guild, or even us, had something to do with the attack on your sister, but I spoke to my dad, and he didn't know anything about it," Alice replied in her squeaky voice. Arnold smirked. "Yes, sure. Anything else?" "I'm serious, Arnold. My dad would never lie to me." Alice pressed on. "I genuinely think there has been some kind of misunderstanding." "Exactly. What would we gain by kidnapping your sick sister?" Lance joined in. "What do you mean, my sick sister? You think I'm the same guy who'd take sh*t from anyone?" Arnold took a step towards him, but Alice came in between them. "Arnold, he didn't mean it like that, Dash. Let me tell you what exactly happened. Your sh*tty guild was responsible for hiring a legitimate nurse for Nicole's treatment, and the one they hired tried to kidnap her. And don't you dare talk BS about that it was a mistake, because I know very well how much the guilds inquire about their potential employees and thoroughly check their background before appointing them. And the only ones who had the power to neglect these rules were either the president or the vice president. So if you still think that you're innocent and just father didn't know anything about it, then open your eyes, princess. This world isn't some fairy tale fantasy where everything you think gets true. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have some company tonight. Bye-bye, and I hope I never get to see your **tie faces again." After saying what he had to, Arnold turned around, once again hoping to cool down before he completely lost it and ended up doing something that he'd regret later. But before he could take a single step away from them, someone grabbed his shoulder. "Who do you think you are to talk so arrogantly to my team, huh? You low-leveled worm." Arnold looked at a man he had never seen before in his life. Most probably a new guy was added to the team after he left the guild. He quickly used his probe skill on him. Turns out the guy barely qualified as a B ranker. His strength and other attributes were more like someone who was ranked at C+. Most probably he was newly awakened. Even Arnold's strength stats was higher than that of this guy. Arnold grabbed onto the new guy's hand and forcefully pulled it off him. "Who are calling a worm? You King Maggot!" Arnold shouted, and the entire group of his former guild mates was surrounded by his golems and lava hounds. The DJ stopped the music, and everyone backed off. Seeing that the situation was going out of hand, Nathan, Joshua, and the others stepped in. "What the hell happened here?" Nathan asked Arnold, who didn't reply but kept staring at the guy who had called him a worm. "You, tell me what the hell is going on here." Joshua asked El. "Sorry, it's our fault. One of our members didn't like the way Arnold addressed us, so he went kind of overboard and said something he shouldn't have. I apologize for the commotion." Alice quickly realized that they were the members of the Black family and tried to defuse the situation before it got worse. "I'm sorry, but you're no longer welcomed here. This club is funded by the Black family, and if you have any problems with them, it means you have a problem with us. I'm afraid I'd have to ask you and your friends to leave immediately." Michelle intervened. "Further, you've been banned from ever entering this club again." "We'll do so. I'm sorry for the trouble," Alice said, and Arnold finally let go of the new guy's hand. Just as they were about to exit the club, the new guy pointed his middle finger at Arnold, which ticked him off, but Arnold knew Nathan wouldn't let him do anything about it, so he did what he thought would be the best thing to do at the moment. Arnold ordered one of his hounds to follow the new guy. No one noticed it, as they were all busy discussing about what had happened there a couple of minutes ago. He then recalled every other summon. "Are you okay?" Orla asked Arnold. "Never been better." A sinister smile appeared on Arnold's face. "Why are y'all taking **t from a nobody?" He's just a rank C warrior for God's sake. The new guy exclaimed. Just shut the hell up, Chris. This has nothing to do with you. El snapped back. Like hell it isn't. How can you talk to Alice like that? Chris snapped back at him. He had wanted to go to a club so that he can have fun with the others, which they were until Alice saw someone who was busy in his own world. But for some reason, everyone stopped whatever they were doing and rushed straight towards that man. In the 10 days he had been with them, he had never seen Alice so happy and disturbed at the same time, which kind of made him jealous. He asked one of his guild mates about the identity of the person, who informed him that this guy was Arnold, the same person everyone used to talk about every day. The day he had joined the Flying Swords, he was informed that he had been recruited as a replacement of someone else, which was a huge blow to his ego, but sadly, this wasn't the end. He found a file which had Arnold's information in it, but didn't have a photo. That's Chris didn't know what he looked like. The files regarding the warriors of the guild were pretty much available to anyone who worked there, so he decided to go through it. After he saw that he was a replacement of a C-ranked warrior, he was livid, but he couldn't do anything about it, so he swallowed his pride and ego. He thought that his teammates would soon forget about that guy once they saw what a B-ranked warrior could do, but to his surprise, they all talked about him all the time. It didn't matter if they were inside a dungeon or at the guild, they'll always talk about him. Chris had thought he'll impress everyone else by showing off his skills inside the dungeon, but no matter what he did, he was always compared to Arnold, which infuriated him even more. He was still lost in his thoughts when he heard something that triggered him. Bye-bye, and I hope I never get to see your sure asterisk tie faces again. I'll show you who has a sure asterisk tie face. Chris thought, this is my chance to show the others that I'm superior and better than him. Without wasting a moment, he grabbed Arnold's shoulders to stop him from leaving. Who do you think you are talk so arrogantly to my team, huh? You low-leveled worm. Chris bellowed. Arnold calmly turned around and stared right through him. Arnold's gaze made his spine shiver. It felt like Arnold was inside his mind. After a brief moment, Arnold grabbed his arm and easily pulled it off his shoulder. How the hell is he doing that? Chris thought. He just a C-ranked mage. How can he be so strong? We're calling a worm. UF asterisk King Maggot. Before he could realize it, various tall and strong humanoid along with some reddish-brown wolf-like creatures appeared out of nowhere and surrounded them. The next thing he knew, they were escorted out of the club and banned from ever entering it again. Good move, genius. El mocked Chris. I told you to stand down, but no, you just had to interfere. I was just trying to help you guys. Chris mumbled. El and Chris were having an argument on their way back. Everyone was upset. Most of them felt down because they were kicked out of the club. They actually didn't care about Arnold very much. For them, he was just a good teammate who left them because of some kind of misunderstanding, but after what he said tonight, few of them started to think that maybe someone was actually involved in the kidnapping of Arnold's sister. But still, why would the vice president align himself with that someone? Gee, thanks for your help, man. We really needed it to get kicked out of the club. Look, I'm sorry, okay? How the hell was I supposed to know that he was there with his family? Exactly my point. If you don't know SH*T about something, then don't go around poking your nose in it. Stop bickering, will you? This was the first time Alice raised her voice in front of them. The two of them immediately went silent. And you, she pointed a finger at Chris, stop behaving like the complete idiot that you are. But I don't want to hear it. Everyone just go home, we'll talk later. Alice said and stormed off. Great, now she's pissed. You are really on fire tonight, Chris. El mocked him one last time before he left. It's all my fault, right? Chris shouted back at El, who simply ignored him and kept walking. Soon everyone else said their goodbyes left too. Chris was the only one left standing there. I don't know what the hell is their problem. Chris shook his head and went on his way. But unknown to him, he wasn't alone. A pair of glowing red eyes had been following him since the moment he left the club. Arnold, we are heading back now. You coming with us? Joshua asked. Nah, I need to cool off a bit. Arnold shook his head. You guys head home. I'll be back in a bit. You sure? Orla asked. Yeah, and I'm sorry. I ruined the celebration. He gave an apologetic smile to the others. It's not the last time we are celebrating, so relax, young man. Joshua patted Arnold's back. Don't waste your youth worrying about such trivial things. I'll try not to. Everything is settled here. let's leave. Nathan walked towards the others and ordered everyone, "You're not coming with us? I think it'll be better if I go for a walk or something and cool off a bit." "All right, but don't be late," Nathan said. "And here, take this, your communicator. I've also added some money to your account." "Thanks." Nathan nodded and left with the others. "Now let's see where has the maggot crawled to." Arnold smirked. "Crack. Who's there?" Chris instantly turned around and stared into the darkness, but he couldn't see anything. But soon a cold atmosphere spread everywhere. Chris was surrounded by a weird, thick mist, but he managed to see a single of black shadow which flew out of the other side of the road. It was covered in black and flew across the road a few meters above the ground. Chris quickly pulled out a short metal stick from his belt. He poured a bit of his energy into it. Its exterior cracked open and more parts extended from within, turning into a long, magical sword. The sides of the blade were emitting white light. This was an energy weapon. Its hilt was engraved with enchantment runes to enhance its attacking capabilities. He was ready to fight whoever was there. "You really think that thing would be able to protect you from these?" A voice echoed through the mist. Bang! Bang! 2 bullets were shot at his head, but as he managed to dodge them with help of his energy shield. "You managed to save yourself. Impressive. Not that I was actually trying to kill you either way." The voice said. "Who are you?" Chris was perplexed. "You don't need to know that, or do you?" The voice replied. Bang! Sound of a gunshot pierced the silence. Chris tried to block it again with his energy shield, but this time the shield couldn't stop the bullet and it got shattered. Bang! Another bullet was shot at him. Without his shield, he was defenseless, but still he tried to stop the bullet with the help of his sword, but his reflexes weren't fast enough, and the bullet managed to hit his right knee. "Eh-ha!" Chris' legs gave out, and he slumped over to the side, holding his legs. "What do you want from me?" At this moment, a person walked out of the fog. He was wearing a black cloak, which had a hoodie attached to it that covered most of his face, but the man was also wearing a black mask, as if he had just walked out of a masquerade party. His hands were behind his back, and his eyes were flickering with a deep light that looked like the aurora one could see from the North Pole. A natural pressure emanated from his body that sent shivers down the Chris spine. "I'm here to teach you a lesson," the man behind the mask whispered. Few moments earlier. Where is he? Arnold was running at full speed. Cerberus was running in front of him, chasing after one of the members of his pack. Arnold didn't know why, but there was a weird connection between the hounds which allowed them to easily locate each other if they were within a radius of 2 kilometers from each other. This was the reason why Arnold had sent one of his hounds to follow Chris, because he knew, as long as he was within a distance of 2 kilometers, Arnold would inevitably find him. After continuously running for 5 minutes or so, he could see Chris' figure at the far end of the street. Once his objective was complete, he recalled both Cerberus and the other lava hound and equipped the Cloak of Phasing and the Vindicator. He felt like he was like a god of death hiding in the dark. He then took out and wore a black mask that he had picked up earlier from the club. Arnold was trying to be as discreet and mysterious as possible because he didn't want to cause any trouble to the family. Even if he was about to attack a jerk, the jerk was a member of a guild, and that might cause some issues. Arnold wasn't afraid to use his guns, though, because no one from the Flying Swords had seen him using it. All they knew was that he was a gunslinger, but gunslingers were pretty common, so even if they doubt him, they won't be able to blame him. All he had to do was to be careful and not use any abilities that the guild knew he had. As long as he'd be able to do that, no one would have any proof against him. For the first time in his life, Arnold was really grateful for the number of abilities he had obtained. He activated his Icy Veil skill. He was instantly surrounded by a thick white mist, with him at the center of it. Although he was surrounded by the mist, he was still able to see everything clearly. He slowly made his way towards Chris. "Back and present. I'm here to teach you a lesson," Arnold whispered. "What are you talking about?" Chris gritted his teeth. "Etiquette. That's what I'm taking about." Arnold shrugged his shoulders and walked closer to Chris. "Don't forget, I'm a warrior." Chris used whatever little bit of strength he had left and slashed his sword at Arnold. Arnold activated Rapid Flash and easily dodged the attack. "A warrior?" Arnold smirked. "Don't make me laugh. You're no warrior. You're just a nuisance." Arnold grabbed one of his gun by its barrel and slammed its handle on Chris' head, rendering him unconscious. TSK. I never thought I'd actually use the gun as a club. Arnold shook his head. Arnold had his gaze fixed on Chris' unconscious body. He was thinking about what he should do next. Earlier, he had planned on just breaking few of his bones and let him leave happily, but in a moment of heat, he had rendered him unconscious. In the back of his head, he knew what he did way petty, but he didn't care about it. In his eyes, it was Chris' fault because he had poked his nose in a matter that didn't concern him. But as much as Arnold wanted to, he knew he couldn't just leave Chris lying in the middle of a road. Who knows what would happen to Chris if Arnold left him like that? Damn it! Arnold was annoyed with the outcome of the fight. He must have a guild communicator on him. I'd use that. Arnold started checking Chris' pockets one after another and found the communicator in one of his jeans pockets. He tried accessing the communicator, but it was password protected. Let's see. He doesn't have much intelligence, so the password could be 1234. Arnold pressed the numbers present on the digital keypad. Beep boop. You kidding me? He looked at Chris. What are you? A boomer. He shook his head and activated the emergency signal. This signal was used to contact the guild in case of emergency and to request backup if something unfortunate happened. Back when Arnold was fighting against Bob, he had used it to send such a signal to the guild many times, but no one came to his aid. This was also one of the reasons why he suspected that the guild had something to do with the attack on him and Nicole. My job is done. The guild would turn up and do whatever they'd like to do. Arnold got up and left the area as soon as he could. The next morning, in a hospital, do you have any idea who attacked you? A police officer asked Chris, who was bedridden. No, officer. Chris' head was bandaged, his left shoulder was dislocated, and the kneecap of his right leg had been shattered. All in all, if it wasn't for morphine, he'd be in a lot of pain right now. Do you remember any special characteristic of the assailant? Like anything that would help us in the investigation? He was wearing a black overcoat and a black mask. He was wielding 2 guns simultaneously, so as far as I can guess, he must be a gunslinger. The thing is, right before the assault began, some kind of a mist surrounded me, and I couldn't see what was going on that well. Could it be someone from the Black family? Lance said. EL and Alice were present in the hospital room, as well as they were the ones who went to help Chris out when the emergency signal went off. And why would they do that? The officer sarcastically asked. As far as he knew, the Black family wouldn't attack a nobody like Chris unless he was hiding something. Last night we kind of had an argument with them in the Malibu club. EL answered. If that's the case, then I don't think it has anything to do with them. How can you be so sure? Chris spoke up. 2 reasons. First, the Black family wouldn't do something so petty for an absurd reason, and second, if they did, and that's a big if, we'd be having this conversation at the morgue, not in this well-furnished room. You mean? Alice mumbled. What I'm trying to say is don't ever mess with the Black family. The officer was dead serious. If you'd like, I'll inform them about what happened and give them the details of the assailant, but I'll recommend that you don't. Their ego is bigger than the sun itself. Who knows what they'd do after that? Chris gulped down his saliva. He now understood why no one dared to mess with the 12 families. They are way too scary and influential. I don't think I'll be filling our report against Tatum. Chris stuttered. Good choice. The officer nodded and got up from his seat, but here's my card. If you change your mind, feel free to contact me. Will do. Alice took the card from him. Meanwhile, at the Black estate, Arnold took off his sweat-drenched shirt and looked down at his well-toned muscles. Following which, he changed into a set of clean clothes that had been delivered to him by one of the butlers. He then checked his account balance, which showed that he had around $20,000 under his name. You call this some dollars? Arnold's mouth twitched as he recalled what Nathan had told him last night. He was still wondering what to do with this much money when a notification popped open in his interface. Daily quest completed. Getting stronger 1. Getting stronger 2. Have been finished. Quest reward. You've gained 2,000 EXP. You've leveled up. Current level 45. You've unlocked the title. Extraordinary figure. Equip. Bonus effects. Plus 10% strength STR. plus 10% agility, AGI, plus 10% stamina, STA, plus 10% HP, plus 20% recovery rate. Please rank up to unlock new series of daily quests. Your level progress have been locked. Please proceed to finish the rank advancement quest to unlock your level progress. Underscore. The hell you mean my progress have been locked? Arnold was confused and shocked at the same time. And what is this rank advancement quest? Another notification popped up on the interface as if the system was waiting for him to ask the question. Underscore. Rank advancement quest. Grade B. Versatile. Introduction. To be the strongest, you need to have various cards up your sleeves. Task. Obtain 3 subclass. Progress. 1/3 subclass obtained. Expert proficiency. Introduction. Just obtaining those subclasses won't do you much good. Learn to use them. Task. Level up 3 subclasses 5 times each, meaning a total of 15 level ups. Progress. 0/15 level ups. Creationist. Introduction. A good creationist is equivalent to an army. It's a shame that someone had to spell out for you. Task. Make and forge 5 blueprints and use them in actual combat. Progress. 1/5 blueprints forged. New knowledges have been added to shop. Complete the rank advancement to unlock your level progress and level up normally. Basic engineering skill. The basic knowledge required by creationists to be able to craft an automaton and various other gears and equipment having basic and limited functions, which can be upgraded over time. Acquiring this knowledge would also reduce the cost of manufacture for various weapons/equipments. Buying this knowledge also unlocks the ability Quick Assembly. Quick Assembly, passive ability, basic ability for creationist class. This ability decreases the duration required to forge an equipment/automaton/weapon, as well as increases their durability by 15%. Rank C. Price. 5 basic beast crystals. The amount would be automatically deducted from your inventory after purchase. Automatons will be pretty helpful in fighting as well as in creation, as they necessarily act as my assistants. If I could get my hands on half a dozen of them, soon I'd be able to create an army to help me out. Arnold's eyes were shining brighter than the stars themselves. Then there's the problem of gathering funds. Wait a minute. With the help of these automatons, I'd be able to mass-produce some weapons like the Vindicator. It goes without saying that I'll intentionally make these weapons have a lower grade so that I'd still have the upper hand in case of equipments. Furthermore, the guns can only use basic enchanted bullets, and as far as I know, only I'll be able to buy those from the shop on my interface, meaning that I'd have a monopoly on the guns and the bullets. This would indefinitely act as my main source of income. Arnold nodded. Although his idea was perfect, he wouldn't be able to execute it for now, as the automatons would require some modifications before they are able to mass-produce the blueprints that he had. But this didn't bother him a bit. As long as he can make and upgrade the automatons, they'd be able to provide an endless supply of manpower. With this in mind, he immediately bought the knowledge, and a familiar message popped up on the interface. You've selected Basic Engineering Skill Knowledge. Do you want to learn Basic Engineering Skill? Yes or no? Yes. Request acknowledged. Learning, learning, learning. You've successfully acquired the knowledge, basic engineering skill. You've unlocked new abilities. Quick assembly, passive ability, basic ability for creationist class. This ability decreases the duration required to forge an equipment/automaton/weapon, as well as the cost by 15%. The cost can be further reduced by leveling up the skill, and also increase the durability by 15%, can be increased by leveling up the skill. Furthermore, you'll be awarded EXP for every equipment/automaton/weapon you forge. The EXP awarded would depend upon the grade and durability of the equipment/automaton/weapon that you forge. Rank C. Congratulations! You've received a new subclass, Engineering Pioneer. Rewards: Intelligence Cent, plus 15. You've gained a new utility blueprint. Automaton, these are robots having a humanoid shape and can be used for a variety of purposes from fighting to manufacturing. Their only limitation is that their function is fully dependent on the imagination as their creator. Apart from this, they're essentially better than any standard human being. Grade B. Use the forge function to learn and convert the blueprint into machinery. Underscore Just like it had happened when he learned the basic shooting skill, Arnold felt like he knew all about machinery, their construction, their working, their pros and cons, etc., like he had been working with them his entire life. Machines weren't just simple things for him anymore. They were a piece of art, and he was the artist. Not too bad. Let's see what's the cost of manufacturing one of these. Items required to construct an automaton. Steel, 20 kilograms. Aluminum, 26 kilograms. 1 basic artificial intelligence chip, available in shop. Machinery tool kit, one-time requirement, available in shop. 10 basic beast crystals. 1 yellow soul crystal, one-time requirement. Only the items stored in the inventory can be used during the forging process. Most of the items are easily available. Right now, I'd only be able to forge one automaton, which would be perfect to test its abilities and upgrade the areas where it is lacking. Arnold smiled. Just look at me. Who'd have thought that one day I'd be so happy about the technology and stuff? He then placed an order at the shop, which was located inside the estate, to deliver the necessities like steel and aluminum in his room. While he waited for them to be delivered, he decided to buy the other things like basic artificial intelligence chip from the shop so that he could complete at least one of the automaton and add some progress to his rank advancement quest. Damn, these chips are costly. Arnold frowned after seeing that the price of one basic artificial intelligence chip was 1 yellow soul crystal. Although Arnold could buy it now and proceed with the construction of the automaton, if he wanted to build an army of automatons, the amount of yellow soul crystals he'd need would be ridiculous. So far, there were only 2 ways to obtain yellow soul crystal. 1, he could try to clear a lot of dungeons by himself and hope that the boss monsters would drop the crystal, or he could buy them from the market in bulk. The problem with the first case was that it was time-consuming, and even if he was able to kill all of the bosses, there would be no guarantee that he'd be allowed to keep the crystal for himself. He could try to clear a dungeon himself, but he doubted that he'd be given the permission to do so. And the issue with the second case was the lack of money. Even a single yellow crystal went anywhere from $11,000 to $25,000 in the market. If he wanted to build an army, he needed to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars just to be able to buy the intelligence chips. To get more money, he'll have to clear more and more dungeons, or he could try to replicate the blueprint of weapons like the Vindicator, so that he could produce a low-quality handgun, which wouldn't require a red soul crystal to be forged and sell in the market. There were many ways to make money, but the amount he needed was huge as well. All of a sudden, the money in his account seemed like water droplets. Arnold lightly slapped his cheeks. Now isn't the time to worry about the future. I have to focus on the rank advancement quest. Knock, knock, knock. There's a delivery from Mr. Arnold. One of the butlers knocked on the door. Arnold opened the doors, and the butler rolled in the cart, which was carrying the items Arnold had requested. Do you require anything else, sir? The butler politely asked. No, thanks. That'll be all. The butler nodded and left, closing the door behind him. Arnold opened the boxes in which iron and aluminum bars were stacked neatly and one by one placed them in his inventory. He then bought the intelligence chip and the machinery toolkit, which cost him 1 yellow soul crystal and 10 basic beast crystals respectively, and placed them in his inventory as well. Proceed to forge. Automaton? Yes or no? Yes. Forging has been started. Estimated time to complete forging automaton assembly KIT, 2 hours. You'll be notified once forging is completed. The crafted items would be stored in your inventory. Wait. What do you mean you're forging automaton assembly KIT? I thought you were going to forge a complete automaton. Automatons are too sophisticated structure for the system to construct by itself. Hence, it can only provide the user with an automaton assembly KIT. The user will have to build the automaton by himself. A basic assembly guide will be added to the automaton assembly KIT. Damn it. Arnold, we are heading back now. You coming with us? Joshua asked. Nah, I need to cool off a bit. Arnold shook his head. You guys head home. I'll be back in a bit. You sure? Orla asked. Yeah, and I'm sorry. I ruined the celebration. He gave an apologetic smile to the others. It's not the last time we are celebrating, so relax, young man. Joshua patted Arnold's back. Don't waste your youth worrying about such trivial things. I'll try not to. Everything is settled here. Let's leave. Nathan walked towards the others and ordered everyone. You're not coming with us? I think it'll be better if I go for a walk or something and cool off a bit. All right, but don't be late, Nathan said. And here, take this, your communicator. I've also added some money to your account. Thanks. Nathan nodded and left with the others. Now let's see where has the maggot crawled to. Arnold smirked. Crack. Who's there? Chris instantly turned around and stared into the darkness, but he couldn't see anything. But soon a cold atmosphere spread everywhere. Chris was surrounded by a weird, thick mist, but he managed to see a single of black shadow which flew out of the other side of the road. It was covered in black and flew across the road a few meters above the ground. Chris quickly pulled out a short metal stick from his belt. He poured a bit of his energy into it. Its exterior cracked open and more parts extended from within, turning into a long, magical sword. The sides of the blade were emitting white light. This was an energy weapon. Its hilt was engraved with enchantment runes to enhance its attacking capabilities. He was ready to fight whoever was there. You really think that thing would be able to protect you from these? A voice echoed through the mist. Bang! Bang! 2 bullets were shot at his head, but as he managed to dodge them with help of his energy shield. You managed to save yourself. Impressive. Not that I was actually trying to kill you either way. The voice said. Who are you? Chris was perplexed. You don't need to know that, or do you? The voice replied. Bang! Sound of a gunshot pierced the silence. Chris tried to block it again with his energy shield, but this time the shield couldn't stop the bullet and it got shattered. Bang! Another bullet was shot at him. Without his shield, he was defenseless, but still he tried to stop the bullet with the help of his sword, but his reflexes weren't fast enough, and the bullet managed to hit his right knee. Aha! Chris' legs gave out, and he slumped over to the side, holding his legs. "What do you want from me?" At this moment, a person walked out of the fog. He was wearing a black cloak, which had a hoodie attached to it that covered most of his face, but the man was also wearing a black mask, as if he had just walked out of a masquerade party. His hands were behind his back, and his eyes were flickering with a deep light that looked like the aurora one could see from the North Pole. A natural pressure emanated from his body that sent shivers down the Chris spine. "I'm here to teach you a lesson," the man behind the mask whispered. Few moments earlier. "Where is he?" Arnold was running at full speed. Cerberus was running in front of him, chasing after one of the members of his pack. Arnold didn't know why, but there was a weird connection between the hounds which allowed them to easily locate each other if they were within a radius of 2 kilometers from each other. This was the reason why Arnold had sent one of his hounds to follow Chris, because he knew, as long as he was within a distance of 2 kilometers, Arnold would inevitably find him. After continuously running for 5 minutes or so, he could see Chris' figure at the far end of the street. Once his objective was complete, he recalled both Cerberus and the other lava hound and equipped the Cloak of Phasing and the Vindicator. He felt like he was like a god of death hiding in the dark. He then took out and wore a black mask that he had picked up earlier from the club. Arnold was trying to be as discreet and mysterious as possible because he didn't want to cause any trouble to the family. Even if he was about to attack a jerk, the jerk was a member of a guild, and that might cause some issues. Arnold wasn't afraid to use his guns, though, because no one from the Flying Swords had seen him using it. All they knew was that he was a gunslinger, but gunslingers were pretty common, so even if they doubt him, they won't be able to blame him. All he had to do was to be careful and not use any abilities that the guild knew he had. As long as he'd be able to do that, no one would have any proof against him. For the first time in his life, Arnold was really grateful for the number of abilities he had obtained. He activated his Icy Veil skill. He was instantly surrounded by a thick white mist, with him at the center of it. Although he was surrounded by the mist, he was still able to see everything clearly. He slowly made his way towards Chris. "Back and present. I'm here to teach you a lesson," Arnold whispered. "What are you talking about?" Chris gritted his teeth. "Etiquette. That's what I'm taking about." Arnold shrugged his shoulders and walked closer to Chris. "Don't forget, I'm a warrior." Chris used whatever little bit of strength he had left and slashed his sword at Arnold. Arnold activated Rapid Flash and easily dodged the attack. "A warrior?" Arnold smirked. "Don't make me laugh. You're no warrior. You're just a nuisance." Arnold grabbed one of his gun by its barrel and slammed its handle on Chris' head, rendering him unconscious. "TSK. I never thought I'd actually use the gun as a club." Arnold shook his head. Arnold had his gaze fixed on Chris' unconscious body. He was thinking about what he should do next. Earlier, he had planned on just breaking few of his bones and let him leave happily, but in a moment of heat, he had rendered him unconscious. In the back of his head, he knew what he did way petty, but he didn't care about it. In his eyes, it was Chris' fault because he had poked his nose in a matter that didn't concern him. But as much as Arnold wanted to, he knew he couldn't just leave Chris lying in the middle of a road. Who knows what would happen to Chris if Arnold left him like that? Damn it, Arnold was annoyed with the outcome of the fight. He must have a guild communicator on him. I'd use that. Arnold started checking Chris' pockets one after another and found the communicator in one of his jeans pockets. He tried accessing the communicator, but it was password protected. Let's see. He doesn't have much intelligence, so the password could be 1234. Arnold pressed the numbers present on the digital keypad. Beep boop. You kidding me? He looked at Chris. What are you? A boomer. He shook his head and activated the emergency signal. This signal was used to contact the guild in case of emergency and to request backup if something unfortunate happened. Back when Arnold was fighting against Bob, he had used it to send such a signal to the guild many times, but no one came to his aid. This was also one of the reasons why he suspected that the guild had something to do with the attack on him and Nicole. My job is done. The guild would turn up and do whatever they'd like to do. Arnold got up and left the area as soon as he could. The next morning, in a hospital, do you have any idea who attacked you? A police officer asked Chris, who was bedridden. I wonder what type of ability would be generated from my blood. Arnold mumbled. He was intrigued. After all, he had so many abilities, If the blood rune was able to generate an active ability from his blood, then he could use it on one of his summons, which would help to get some load of him during his battles. He took a small knife and grazed his forefinger. Soon blood came rushing out of the cut. Arnold took the blood rune and used his blood on it. The moment the blood touched the surface of the rune, the red engravings on it started glowing. The color of the engraving changed from red to blue, indicating that the process was successful. Arnold once again used his probe skill on the stone. Object: blood rune activated. Type: blood crystal. Grade A. Remark: an extremely rare crystal which can be used to generate an ability from blood monsters, humans, and any other sentient beings. The rune contains plasma shield ability. Underscore not too shabby. The hounds could definitely use this as they lack in defense. I should probably give it to Cerberus. He summoned out the aggressive two-headed lava hound. When the hound looked at his surroundings, he got confused. Why did his master summon him if there were no enemies to fight? Arnold generally summoned the hounds only when he was in full battle mode, but right now he was casually sitting on a chair and looking at Cerberus. He then signaled the hound to come forward, and the hound obeyed and sat near his chair. Arnold then picked up the activated blood rune and tossed it at Cerberus, but nothing happened. You gonna tell me how this SH asterisk T works? Underscore. You need to place the blood rune near the creature's chest. Once you do that, the creature would be able to absorb it. But if you're using the blood rune on an automaton, you'll have to construct a cavity to insert the blood rune in it. You can retrieve this rune stone anytime, but if you do that, the particular automaton wouldn't be able to use that ability again. In case when the automaton is destroyed, you can retrieve the rune stone from its body. Arnold sighed softly. Next time, try to give me such information sooner, could you? Underscore. Request acknowledged. He rolled his eyes and picked up the rune stone from the ground. He did what the system had told him to and placed it near Cerberus' chest. Suddenly sparks flew out of the rune stone, and intense light covered the entire room. When the light faded away, the stone in his hands disintegrated into dust. He looked at Cerberus. His chest now had a weird blue now engraving on it. At this moment, a notification appeared on the interface. Implantation successful. Your summoned Cerberus, type Lava Hound, can now use the Plasma Shield ability. Nice. I should craft a few more dash. Automaton Assembly KIT has been crafted successfully. The item has been stored in your inventory. I could build the automaton first. Arnold smiled and opened his inventory to take out a large bronze box, putting it down on the floor. Damn, it is heavy. Phew. He opened the box containing various mechanical parts and tools. He took them out one after another and laid them across the room. A file was also inside the box, which had the information about the different parts of the automaton. Okay, so this is the voice command module. The document says it's been pre-programmed with basic functions, he said as he picked up a rectangular-shaped chip. And this is the power source. It's quite small. I wonder how long will it last. Let's look at the document. 1 month. You serious? I could make a fortune by selling these. That is if I'm able to figure out how it works. Well, that would be the last of the equipment. The rest are the mechanical parts like its head, hands, etc. Better get the instructions and start building the automaton. Arnold flipped through the pages of the file, but it didn't have any instruction whatsoever. What the hell is this system? Why is there no instructions on building the automaton? Arnold panicked. Underscore 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 underscore. The system can only guide you with the connections of internal modules. You'll have build the physical frame of the automaton yourself. Underscore 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 underscore. Arnold was speechless and rubbed his temples and thought, this is just the first time. It's normal to meet an obstacle. It's normal. It's normal. Like hell, it's normal. He was frustrated, but there was nothing he could do about it. He took a deep breath and calmed down. It's just like an advanced puzzle. And I have no clue how to solve it, but I will solve it. 6 hours later. Crackle, crackle, crackle. Arnold took off his welding helmet. His hair was damp from his sweat. He held his knees and panted. This thing is way too tiring. I'm exhausted. I'll complete the physical design tomorrow. He felt like a certain genius, billionaire, playboy, philanthropist, apart from the fact that he wasn't a genius, or a billionaire, or a playboy, or a philanthropist. In fact, he had terrible luck with women. He shook his head and looked at the fruit of his labor. A headless black armored automaton was standing near his study table. The physical design of his first automaton was nearly completed. He still had to upload the voice command module, as well as the artificial intelligence chip inside the brain of the automaton, but this work was too tiring, and after continuously working for 6 hours, he was exhausted. It'd be better if I made another blood rune and get an ability for the automaton. He stroked his chin. The thing is, I want them to have a variety of abilities, not just the ones I have. Maybe I could ask someone from the family for help. Let's see. Who would be willing to spare 2 to 3 drops of blood? Nathan, maybe? No. I'll ask too many questions about the process and the runes and whatnot, and I'm definitely not going to ask Johnny. It's too soon for me to join my parents in the afterlife. As if his parents were helping him from the afterlife, someone knocked on his door. Arnold, you in there? Nina's voice came through the door. I'll have to lie, but maybe I can convince her, Arnold said with an evil smile on his face. Arnold opened the door and Nina spoke up. Hey, are you free, Tomer? You sure? You're not into cosplay and stuff? Because every time I meet you, you're wearing a different costume. She glanced at the welding helmet and an apron. What are you cosplaying as now? A mechanic? If you were then, you're doing a great job. It's better than wearing the same sports bra and yoga pants every day. Arnold smirked. I didn't know you were so interested in my outfits, or I'd have organized a fashion show for you. She replied sarcastically. Sure, why don't you come inside? He waved his hand and invited her in. Your room is always this messy, or today is some special occasion? Nina carefully stepped around the room, filled with useless scrap. What's that? Nina pointed at the incomplete automaton. That is my new creation. An automaton. It's still incomplete. He replied. So you're building a robot in your bedroom. I'm not judging, but I think I know the type of functions this robot would have. Arnold thought about it for a while before he figured out what Nina was trying to say. Oh, gotta know. It's nothing like that. Sir, Nina wasn't convinced at all. Now that we are inside, are you free dash? Wait a bit and check this out. Arnold showed her the blood rune he had just made. Where did you get a rune stone from? Those are quite uncommon, aren't they? Yeah, but it's nothing special, just an ordinary rune stone which I made from scratch. You just made a rune stone? Nina was surprised. You can make thousands just by selling rune stones, you know that, right? Yeah, I made it using my creationist abilities. but you see, I can't sell them before studying their effects. He lied he'd never sell something like this, but you see, the rune has some issues with it. What type of issues? I designed it in a way that it would activate only when it comes into contact with someone's blood, but when I tried to activate it using my blood, the stone disintegrated into dust. He lied once again, but this time he had a proof. He pointed at the small pile of dust that was generated by the blood rune he had used on Cerberus. I wanted to use my blood once again, but this is the last rune I was able to make successfully, and so I don't want it to reduce into dust as well. He lied yet again, but Nina didn't have to know about it. So, Nina mumbled. So, I was thinking if you could help me out with the experiment. All right, Matt, she shouted at the top of her lungs. I won't allow you to use me as a pool of blood. Pool of blood? The heck are you taking about? I just need 2 to 3 drops to activate and study the rune. I won't wait. Just a couple of drops. She calmed down a bit. Just a couple of drops. Arnold nodded. It's still weird and uncomfortable, but I guess I should help you out, but only as a favor. She mumbled, just tell me what I need to do. I can't show her the knife. She's already so freaked out. Who knows when she'll do when she sees a knife? Arnold thought. I wonder how someone like her was a good warrior. What are you waiting for? She complained, I don't have all day. Yeah, here, take this. Arnold handed her an ice pin which he made on the spot using his ice affinity. Poke your finger or whatever you like, and then make sure that your blood drops on the rune surface. Nina did what he told and poked her left arm's little finger using the pin Arnold gave her. She then made sure to drop 2 drops of blood on the rune before putting her finger inside her mouth to suck out the excess blood. The moment Nina's blood touched the surface of the rune, it started glowing, and finally, the red engravings turned into blue. Would you look at that? It's a success. Arnold sniggered. Nina immediately took the finger out of her mouth and gave Arnold an annoyed look. So what does it do? She pointed at the rune. I'll have to study it for a while first. Now tell me what you wanted to talk about. I was saying that if you were free tomorrow, would you like to join us for a dungeon trip? Sure, but you know that I have a phone, right? I did, but I didn't have your number, so you can have mine. She took a piece was paper from Arnold's study table and wrote her number on it. Thanks, Arnold said, as Nina handed him the piece of paper and left soon, thinking that he'd make some another weird request if she stayed there. Arnold closed the door after she left and looked at the activated blood rune. Change of plans. I'm finishing the automaton tonight. Couple of hours later. Underscore connect the right locomotive gear to the left side of the power source. English, please. Connect the red wire to the black one. Thank you. Now you need to connect the voice module to the neural network. Your voice is already registered in the module, so you don't need to redo it. All right. What else? If you want, you can connect the blood rune to the provided socket. This is not a necessary step and can be done later. Oh yeah, I totally forgot about it, Arnold said and pulled out the blood rune from his inventory. I haven't checked what ability it has yet. Arnold and used his probe skill on the stone. underscore, 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 object, blood rune, activated. Type, blood crystal. Grade A. Remark, an extremely rare crystal which can be used to generate an ability from blood monsters, humans, and any other sentient beings. The rune contains sword/ability. Underscore, 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 underscore. It just had to be a sword skill. I'll have to get a sword for the automaton first. Marshall already has one, but I don't think the automaton would be able to handle a sword that big. Arnold was lost in his thoughts once again. I think I should give it to Marshall. Either way, I have a dungeon trip tomorrow, so it'd be better if I make another blood rune and use it to get some abilities which would be more suitable for the automaton. If I can get one ability from 2 to 3 drops, who knows how many abilities would I be able to get from a whole monster? That settles it. Then, I'll give the sword skill to Marshall, and I'll worry about the abilities tomorrow. For now, let's just activate the automaton and get it over with. Underscore, 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 underscore. Use the voice command module to activate the automaton. Underscore, 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 underscore. Voice command? What should I say? Wake up. System Sama, please enlighten my Knoll Dash. Before Arnold could complete what he was saying, he heard a loud humming noise and turned towards the black armored automaton, white light coming through its empty eye sockets. It had shiny metal alloy plates on the outside the armor, which covered the automaton's chest and the back, and a little below the back of the neck was the power source, which was emitting a faint white light. The locomotive gears kicked into action as it slowly walked up to Arnold and kneeled down in front of him. Your command, Master. An electronic voice came out of the mouthless robot. Saying that Arnold was surprised would be the understatement of the decade. He happily looked at the automaton. It took Arnold around 12 hours to make this wonder, and now, finally, his hard work was paying off. He was still admiring the automaton when a notification popped up. Underscore, 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 underscore. Assembly of light armored automaton completed. Expand to see the stats. First time assembly rewards. EXP plus 2,500. Grade rewards. EXP plus 1,000. Successful construction reward. EXP plus 1,500. You cannot level up. Use the excess EXP to level up your subclass first. Would you like to rename your creation? Yes or no? Underscore, 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 underscore. 5,000 EXP. That's way too much. He jumped with excitement and renamed the automaton as Talos Superscript 1 before expanding the menu to see Talos stats. Underscore, 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 underscore. Talos. Type, combat automaton. Grade B. Basic stats. Durability, Superscript 2, Dur, 4800/4800. Energy Superscript 2, ENR, 2500/2500. Strength, STR, 90. Defense, Def, 137. Intelligence, Int, 50. Agility, AGI, 70. Accuracy, ACC, 55. Evade, EVD, 50. Height, 1.72 meter. Weight, 50 kilograms. Control, Basic Artificial Intelligence, Chip. Power Source, Star Shard, Solar/Thermal Charging. Energy Consumption, Idle Mode, 4 energy/min. Energy Consumption, Combat Mode, 16 energy/min. Recovery Rate, 10 energy/min. Weapon Module, none. Abilities, none. Underscore, 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 1. Talos is not a Thanos reference by any means, lol. According to Greek mythology, Talos, also pronounced as Talus, was a giant automaton made of bronze to protect Europa in Crete from pirates and invaders. 2. Durability and energy of an automaton acts as the HP and mana for it. Master your command? Talos questioned once again. How much do you know about this world? Don't tell me that I'll have to teach you everything as well. Arnold went to sit on the bed while Talos answered him. He wanted to know how effective basic artificial intelligence Chip was because he didn't want to waste too much of his time on teaching basic things to Talos. I have all the knowledge that you possess, Master. Talos replied in its electronic voice. You mean you have all the knowledges that I possess, including basic shooting skill, basic engineering skill, and blood mage skill? Arnold calmly asked. If the automatons could use the blood skills, he wouldn't need to use blood necromancy himself, and he'd be able to mass-produce blood runes, this exponentially increasing the power of his summons. But before he could dream any more about it, Talos shattered his hope. Yes, Master. I have all those skills, but since I'm not an organic being, I can't use any skills that come with blood mage knowledge. The rest of the knowledges are locked in my database and can only be unlocked if you allow it. At least you can use the shooting and engineering skills, so that's something. Do you also know the blueprint of Vindicator? Yes, Master. Can you build it? Once I learn basic engineering skill, then I can produce it. However, since I cannot access the Elder anymore, I won't be able to obtain the items from the Elder. So the items used to forge the weapon would be different. Thus, the grade of the weapon would be lower. What do you mean different items? Arnold was intrigued by Talos' response. I can modify the blueprint and produce the weapon without the use of beast crystals, but the grade and the damage output would be much lower. Produce the weapon without the beast crystals? Arnold immediately stood up from the bed. Yes, Master. Talos replied in his usual voice. It wasn't even slightly bothered by Arnold's sudden outburst. Talos was clueless about what Arnold was thinking. Talos' one statement had solved many of Arnold's problems. First, he would need to downgrade the blueprint himself, and second, he was pretty sure that even if he downgraded the blueprint, it would still require some type of beast crystal to build the weapon, but Talos could build the weapon without needing the beast crystals. Not to mention that Talos didn't need a rest, so it could work day and night to forge a weapon or even another automaton as long as it is provided with the materials. HM, I want you to learn the basic engineering knowledge, as well as the basic shooting knowledge. After that, try to downgrade the weapon blueprints and forge Vindicator. Got it. Arnold ordered the automaton. Yes, Master. Learning both the skills would take 2 hours' time. Downgrading and forging the weapon would take 7 hours. Total time taken would be 9 hours. Energy consumed would be 36 points. Configuration completed. Proceeding with the task. Arnold gave Talos the materials and the tools that he had left in his inventory. Now, since that's completed, let's sleep. I have an early start tomorrow. Earlier that day, at the Flying Swords Guild, the pipsqueak is getting troublesome. The president of Flying Swords sighed. The leader might have forgiven us, but he hasn't forgotten about the disaster we pulled off. You mean the kidnapping? Jake asked. He knew all about the relationship between the president and the leader, as it was because of the leader that he and his team were able to significantly increase their powers, and they were extremely grateful towards both of them. Yes, the president nodded. The leader doesn't trust me like before. I have to prove my worth once again. We are awaiting your orders, sir. We'll happily sacrifice ourselves for your sake. Jake replied. To him and his team, order from the president was like the order of a god. After all, it was the president and the leader who gave them the powers they had. They didn't care if they had to battle the entire Black family. If the president ordered them to do so, they won't hesitate for a moment. No need to do that. I don't want the guild involved with the Blacks. Thanks to the pipsqueak, they already have their suspicion on us. The president said, disapproving the idea, contact some rogue mercenaries, but do it anonymously. The pipsqueak barely managed to hold down Bob, who was at rank B, so be sure to hire at least 3 rank A's to ensure that he dies this time. That should be sufficient for now. Also check if they are venturing to a dungeon. If they are, then have the mercenaries sneak in and kill them all. Make sure that it would look like the monsters got them. That way the probability that they'd figure out it was our doing would be much lesser. If the mercenaries have shape-shifting abilities, then that would be even better. Tell them to make sure they leave no witness. But don't give them the true identities of the targets. They'll definitely freak out if they got to know that their targets were the members of the Black family. Make sure to cover up any loopholes. I don't want any disasters this time. Anything else, sir? No, you can leave. He waved his hand. Yes, sir. Jake nodded and left the president's office. Getting him out of the picture should please the leader and would also help me to get some recognition from the society. He nodded. The boy has to die. An altered weapon blueprint has been created. Rewards. EXP plus 500. New weapon created. Rewards. EXP plus 300. First time assembly rewards. EXP plus 200. Grade rewards. EXP plus 500. You cannot level up. Use the excess EXP to level up your subclass first. You can upgrade the subclass by opening the Information tab and select the subclass you want to upgrade. Would you like to rename your creation? Yes or no? Understood. WH what? Yon, what is happening? Arnold said in a sleepy voice. Let me sleep, will you? Arnold closed his eyes once again and tried to sleep, but, Master, I've completed the task. Talos informed Arnold in its electronic voice. Kidman, what the hell are you doing? Arnold opened his eyes again and saw that Talos was pointing a gun at him. He immediately jumped off the bed and took out the Vindicator from his and pointed his guns at Talos. According to the internet, stimuli such as fear is a great way to cause an adrenaline rush, which then fills the human body with energy. I found this to be a suitable method to wake you up. Talos replied and placed the gun in the holster he had made. I've completed my task. You son of a *ch, don't you dare point a gun at me again. Arnold shouted, not letting go of his guns. Go TO, standby mode and stay like that till I order you TO move. Request acknowledged, going into idle mode. Talos replied as the white glow in its eyes vanished. King idiot. How the hell did he even manage to access the internet? Arnold shook his head and opened his interface. The notification popped open once again. An altered weapon blueprint has been created. Expand to view stats. Would you like to rename your creation? Yes or no? So Talos actually managed to replicate the blueprint. He mumbled and opened the stat window for the newly developed weapon. A light handgun which is derived from the Vindicator and can cause quite some damage. The recoil from the gun isn't as much as its predecessor. Grade C. Damage 80 to 95 physical. Overload for minutes. Cooldown 10 seconds. Range 32 meter. Ammo type enchanted bullets / mechanically produced shells. Magazine capacity 36, 18 each. Weight 1.6 kilograms. Additional skill petty shot. Deals additional 8% damage when the target is closer than 15 meters. Use the forge function to learn and convert the blueprint into weapon. Arnold carefully analyzed the pros and cons of Talos' creation. For starters, it wasn't half bad. It had decent damage, not much but decent. As the time taken for the gun to overload was longer, it could shoot more bullets than the Vindicator, and the time for it to cool down was also much smaller, thus making it even better. The weight was less, which reduced the recoil. That was about all of the pros the new blueprint had. As for the cons, the range and damage of the gun were lesser than that of the Vindicator. Even the skill effect would cause only 8% additional damage. But the pros overshadowed the cons, and the blueprint was definitely a successful knockoff of the Vindicator. But what should he name it? He wasn't going to name it Vindicator Jr. How about Detractor? Naming successful. Detractor blueprint has been added. I better get ready to leave now. Talos, wake up. We have to go. The automaton came to life and walked up to Arnold. I'll go and get ready. Meanwhile, you, my friend, clean the room, and after you're done with it, make some ammunition for your gun. Master, I can't access the elder and request for supplies. Talos replied. Just who is this elder you keep talking about? Arnold asked. The one who resides within you. You refer him as System, and sometimes as System Sama. Okay, just clean the room. I'll take care of the ammunition. Arnold was in a hurry, so he didn't question him anymore, but just when he was about to leave, another notification popped up on the interface. You have additional EXP, which can be used to level up your subclasses. Stored EXP, 6500/10,000. You can upgrade the subclass by opening the Information tab and select the subclass you want to upgrade. Right, I should probably upgrade my subclasses while I can, Arnold said, and opened the Information tab to view his own stats. Name, Arnold Ling. Title, Extraordinary Figure. Level, 45. Rank, C. Special Skill. Class, Cosmic Creationist. Stored EXP, 6500/10,000. Subclass, Magical Gunslinger, LVL1. EXP, 0/3000. Abilities, Quick Shot, LVL1. Explosive Shot, LVL2. Engineering Pioneer, LVL1. EXP, 0/3000. Abilities, Quick Assembly, LVL1. Blood Maniac, LVL1. EXP, 0/3000. Abilities, Blood Necromancy, LVL1. Affinity, Ice, Wind and Water, Lava, Earth and Fire. HP, 6138/6138. Mana, 2387/2387. EXP, 0/1000. Stats, Expand to View. Abilities, Expand to View. Attribute points remaining, 8. Potential points remaining, 0. Underscore 3,000 EXP to level up one subclass? You gotta be kidding me. Arnold smacked his head, and here I was thinking I'd be able to upgrade a subclass by at least 5 levels. If I have to choose a subclass to upgrade, I think the choice is clear. Without any hesitation, Arnold dumped 6,000 EXP to level up his Blood Maniac subclass twice. Subclass leveled up. Blood Maniac, LVL3. Rewards. Mana plus 1,000. Int plus 10. Blood Necromancy upgraded to level 3. Additional effect unlocked. Bloodborne Intelligence. Passive ability. Your intelligence will increase your mana. Conversion rate 1, INT, 10 mana. Leveling up this ability would increase the conversation rate. This molding ability can only be leveled up by leveling Blood Maniac subclass. Rank B. Underscore. A mana molding ability. Finally, I can stop investing my precious potential points to increase the mana. Arnold was ecstatic. His mana was increased by 1850 points at once. He was feeling very lucky. Maybe Lady Luck would continue to bless him inside the dungeon as well. He couldn't contain his excitement and quickly got dressed and left along with Talos. You're late, Nina complained. Joshua, Orla, and other people were joining Arnold for the trip. Is that the robot you were making? Sorry. Something came up all of a sudden, and yes, this is Talos, Arnold said, scratching the back of his head. So, everybody ready? Great, then let's move out. Tea traying. Tea-traying. Tea-traying. Just as Arnold was about to get into the car, his phone went off. Who is calling me now? Hello? Oh, hi, Nathan. You want something? Where are you? Nathan's voice came through the speaker. I'm about to leave to clear a dungeon along with Nina and the others, he replied. No, you're not. Father wants me to start your training today, Nathan said with a sense of authority in his voice. Can't we do it after we return? You want to train or not? Fine, fine. No need to increase your blood pressure. I'm coming, Arnold said and disconnected the call. Sorry, guys. Nathan needs me for something, so I'll have to go. What? But you already confirmed that you'd come with us. Nina mumbled. What can I say? You saw you just called me. It's okay. You can leave. We'll manage somehow. Joshua intervened. You know what? Talos, go along with them, and here, take some bullets with you. Arnold mumbled and handed Talos some pre-made icy bullets. All right, then let's go, Joshua said and drove off. Found anything yet? Nina asked Talos, who was walking ahead of the group for now. Nothing yet, Talos replied in its electronic voice. It's strange. There are no monsters here. Are you sure we're at the right place? Orla asked Joshua, who nodded in reply. That's not the only weird thing either. Can't you see? A frigging robot is leading the party. How sick is that? Justin was one of the new members of the Black Knights. I'll have to say, Arnold is a man of many talents. Nina nodded. Although he behaves like a weirdo sometimes, he's actually a good guy. Which talents are you taking about exactly? Gabriel winked at her. Something you'll never have, Nina replied without even bothering to look at him. What? A brain? Everyone exploded with laughter. Savage. Huh? Dan laughed, but the fun was cut short by Talos. As usual, something is wrong. Scanning related case files. Fetching data. Task completed. Talos mumbled. According to the PRSD's research wing, empty dungeons are uncommon, but they do exist. In such cases, the boss-level creature somehow managed to break out of its confinement and slaughters every being inside the dungeon till no one is left. Something similar happened during the Great Shanghai disaster. When this happens, the boss-level creature, in thirst for more destruction, tries to break through the dungeon. The natural barrier, which prevents the escape of the monsters, may or may not be able to hold the boss-level monster back, as it only acts as a barrier for the normal grade monsters, not for boss grade monsters. Thus, to prevent this, the guilds are allotted regions of their own to take care of any and every dungeon that pops open in their territory, such that if any dungeon breakouts happen, the guild could stop the monsters from causing much destruction. But this dungeon is different. Although there are no monsters here, there's no sign of a breakout either. What are you trying to say? Joshua was concerned about everyone else. This is not a natural phenomenon, Talos informed the others. That's it. We're out of here. Send the emergency signal for backup. Till the backup arrives, we'll guard the entrance and wait there. Joshua ordered the others or try to send the signal to the guild, but the communicator wasn't working. Damn it. We're not that deep into the dungeon yet. Why isn't it working? Just then they heard low growl of a monster who was rushing towards them. Everyone out now, Orla bellowed, and the others rushed towards the entrance. There, I can see the entrance, Dan shouted. Keep going, Joshua shouted from behind. But before they could reach the entrance, they heard a blood-curdling scream coming from the outside. No, Orla gasped when she saw two 7-feet-tall panther-like creatures walking through the entrance. One of them seemed to be dragging something with its mouth. My God, Nina whispered in horror. The panther-like monster was dragging the bloodied body of Coco, their porter, whom they had left outside because they thought it wouldn't have been unnecessary as Talos was going to carry the backpack. They thought by doing this they were keeping him safe, but in the end they were the ones to put him in danger. Look, his hand moved a little. He's alive, but I don't think he'll survive for long. Hurry up and take the beast down and then dash. Roar. That growl immediately petrified everyone. Joshua turned around and saw a larger creature having the resemblance of a lion, most probably the leader of the pack, came into full view. It was massive and its skin was as white as a pearl. It was even larger than the other two creatures. Its mane was so long that it touched the ground. While Joshua was busy examining the lion-like beast, the panther who was dragging Coco dropped him on the ground and bit his shoulder. Everyone thought they'd hear Coco scream, but they didn't. He simply didn't have any strength left to do so. Maybe this displeased their Lion King, who growled at the panther. The panther immediately retreated, but kept toying with Coco, as if it wanted the others to attack it. "Yuba asterisk guard!" Gabriel shouted at the panther and was about to charge at him, but Joshua stopped him. "Wait, can't you see they are provoking us to do something harsh? Everyone, defense formation. Mages and healers stay in the middle and provide support." Joshua ordered his teammates. "Palos, when the opportunity arises, grab Coco and run outside. Once you're out, try to get help." Request acknowledged. Talos mumbled, "And pray that a miracle happens." Orla whispered, "Back at the Black Estate." "Oh, come on. You call this training? We've been sitting here and doing nothing for an hour now." Arnold complained, "I thought you'll teach me some combat techniques or something." Arnold and Nathan were sitting in the garden and were meditating after doing yoga for a while. Nathan slowly opened his eyes and gave a sharp look to Arnold. "This is called meditation, not sitting around." Even though it looked like Nathan was angry, his voice was calm as a lake. And meditation is the best way for mages to increase their power. Not when you have a system to guide you, duh. Arnold thought, all right. I'll meditate like a 60-year-old virgin guru," he said and closed his eyes. He tried his best to meditate, but his mind kept wandering. According to him, this was nothing but a waste of his precious time, which he could have utilized to go to the dungeon and hopefully rank up. But yet here he was, busy meditating like a boomer. If I'm stuck, maybe I should have some fun, Arnold thought, and activated his foresight ability because why not? He couldn't move when he used the skill either way, so this was best time to do it. He felt his consciousness detaching from his body and slowly opened his eyes, hoping to see himself being stuck in the garden and meditating. Instead, when he opened his eyes, he was inside a tunnel. "No, it looks like a dungeon," Arnold mumbled. In a moment the scenery was changed, and he could faintly see Nina, Gabriel, Dan, and Talos fending off some strong beasts while Orla was busy healing an injured Joshua. Arnold wanted to do something to help them, but couldn't. He started screaming and soon heard someone repeated calling his name as he was pulled back in his body. "Arnold? Arnold? You okay?" Nathan lightly smacked on his cheeks. "We have to hurry." Arnold stood up in a flash, almost knocking Nathan down. "What's wrong? You look like you've seen a ghost or something." Nathan replied, "We have to hurry. The others are in danger." Justin cried in pain as one of the panther bit his leg. Nina saw the panther's attack and slashed at it, but the panther managed to retreat in time. No harm was done to it. "Damn it, they're too fast," Gabriel shouted. "None of my attacks are working." Blood poured out of Justin's leg. The panther had bit into a major vein. Nina raced towards him and pulled him back using one of her arms while she swung the sword with the other one. She dragged him to the middle of the circle they had formed, where Martha and Orla were already busy healing the Joshua and two others. "The injuries keep increasing. We got to do something." Bang, bang, bang. Talos was continuously shooting at the creatures, but the bullets seemed to have a little effect. Talos' shots were only effective when the creatures were closer to him, and the creatures understood it and maintained their distance from Talos and stopped attacking him and focused on the others, who were more vulnerable. "Damn it," Nina cursed at the top of her lungs. The creatures were like a pack of scavengers. Their teamwork and strategy quickly managed to overwhelm and injure Joshua at the start of the fight. Joshua was an A-ranked tank, but still the creatures managed to manhandle him. He wasn't the only tank in the team, but he was the most capable one. Without his leadership, the party members collapsed one after another. Dan was trying to do his best, but if an A-ranked tank couldn't do much, then what could a mere C-ranked tank do? They were completely trapped. They were hemmed in from one side by the White Lion, while the other side was blocked off by the Panthers, one of which was injured thanks to Talos, Gabriel's, and Nina's efforts. But the other two were unscathed. "No way out," Gabriel whispered, his sword drawn at the lion. "Yeah," Nina nodded, trying to calm herself. Gabriel nodded towards the injured panther. "I don't think he'll try to attack us anymore. We just have to take care of the other two, Let's take down the lion first while Dan and the mage can focus on the other panther. The lion started circling them while slowly moving in as the uninjured panther flanked them. The injured panther was lying near the entrance as to prevent their prey from escaping. Nina saw this as an opening. "Gabe, we can retreat," she whispered. "If we can take care of the injured panther, we can escape the dungeon, contact the guild, and hold the monsters inside till they arrive." "It's pretty dangerous, though," Gabriel whispered, not taking his eyes off the lion in front of him. "Half of the team is either injured or can't fight. We don't have another choice." "All right, pull back," Gabriel whispered, but slowly. "Talos, grab Coco as soon as we get close to Dash," Nina whispered. "He's dead," Talos replied in his usual emotionless electronic voice. It doesn't matter, just do it." Even she knew that Coco was gone, but she didn't want to admit it. Suddenly Justin spoke up. "We won't last long. You guys run, I'll distract him along with Talos." Nina didn't turn towards him. Her eyes were fixed on the panther, but her admiration for the injured guy shot up. After all, he was willing to die for the others. Nina shook her head. "Not possible. Even if we wanted, we won't be able to run that fast with so many injured people. The monsters will catch up sooner or later." They were moving towards the entrance slowly but surely, but then the unharmed panther charged at her. She held tightly to her sword, ready to strike, but to her surprise the panther suddenly stopped. Nina got agitated and was about to charge at the panther when she heard a blood-curdling scream. She turned immediately towards the entrance. The injured panther used the distraction to attack the mage who was guarding their rear. The mage kept attacking the panther as it bit into his shoulder, but it was all in vain. He kept screaming in agony as the panther dragged his body back and threw him next to Coco's body. The panther kept biting and slashing its claws on Mage till he stopped moving. The mage was dead. Nina was about to charge at the injured panther, but before she could, something landed right in front of her. It was Dan. His armor was shattered into pieces by a single blow of the lion. The lion was standing on top of Gabriel's head and roared loudly. The lion and the panthers now slowly moved towards Nina. But before they could close in, Talos went supersonic and grabbed the injured panther's head and rained all of the bullets in its head. The panther struggled to get out of the automaton's hold, but couldn't. Seeing their fellow beast in danger, the lion and the panther jumped at Talos, completely ignoring Nina. "This is it. Everyone grab the injured ones and run. This is our only chance," she shouted and grabbed Gabriel and Dan, while Martha took Justin and Orla dragged Joshua. Talos somehow managed to keep the beast busy till Martha and Orla managed to escape, but the lion finally managed to destroy him before Nina could escape the dungeon. Seeing that there was no hope for her to escape, she entrusted Gabriel and Dan to Martha and Orla before taking Jason's sword from him. "Take them and go. Call for the guild or the family for help. I'll stall the beasts till then," Nina said in a calm and concentrated voice. "No," Gabriel mumbled before collapsing once again. "Don't waste time. Go now," she shouted and turned to face her inevitable death. Martha and Orla knew Nina wouldn't be able to survive, and they couldn't do anything about it no matter. "Just hold on. We'll be right back with some reinforcements," Orla said in an attempt to boost Nina up. Nina just nodded in reply as Martha and Orla left the dungeon. Now Nina was alone with the beasts inside. "You're not going anywhere while I'm alive." Nina pointed her swords at the beasts. "Meanwhile, I'm still not convinced. I'm just coming along because the others aren't responding," Nathan said. "I'm not here to convince you. When we reach there, you'll see that I'm telling the truth. Now drive faster," Arnold replied. Since Arnold was panicking so much, Nathan had little choice but to help him out. From how Arnold had described the scene after using his foresight, it felt like there had been a dungeon breakout. Initially, Nathan didn't believe what Arnold was saying. Monsters in an B-rank dungeon would never have enough power to break through the dungeon. Moreover, Joshua and Orla were already there. They were not new to the scene. Even if there would have been a dungeon breakout, Nathan was pretty sure they would be able to handle it. But when Arnold didn't stop blabbering about the others, Nathan decided to contact them, but something was wrong as he couldn't contact them. Fearing for the worst, both him and Arnold took his Mustang and drove to dungeon at top speed. I just hope that you're hallucinating and nothing more. Nathan shook his head and stepped on the gas. Back in the dungeon, the lion charged. Nina lashed out with her right hand, but Justin's sword was shorter than hers and didn't have the reach, but because of this, she lost her balance. The panther to the advantage and charged into her. Before she could react, the panther bit hard into her right leg. She screamed in pain and swung hard with her longer sword at the panther, but it dodged the attack. The rate at which she was losing blood was too much. Her legs gave out. The beast charged, and once again, this time the lion led the attack. She knew one of them would try to distract her, while the other one would attack. Even though she couldn't stand, she won't let them kill her teammates. Not while she was breathing. She held her sword high enough to stop the lion and the panther from charging in carelessly. "Come on, you Fu *King P size." She shouted with all her might, thinking that they were scared of her and her swords. But in reality, they're only playing with their prey. They knew that the others won't be able to go very far, and sooner or later, decide to abandon the injured ones. But the case as such seemed highly unlikely. The lion jumped in. Nina jabbed her sword at its shoulder, but she wasn't fast enough, and the lion managed to bit a part of her thigh away. Before she could recover from this wound, the panther charged in and bit hard at her torso. Her armor was like a sheet of paper for the panther to bit through. But it wasn't in vain, because Nina finally managed to cut a vein protruding through the panther's left shoulder. The amount of blood she was losing kept increasing with every wound. The adrenaline rushing through her veins was working against her, as the blood was leaking through numerous wounds on her body. She vigorously shook her head. She had to buy the others some more time. But she was weak and helpless. She could barely hold his swords anymore. She looked at the panther. It was in pain, but it wasn't enough to stop it from attacking her again. The beasts looked at each other and nodded as if they had decided that the playtime was over and prepared themselves for one final attack. Nina knew this was it, her final moment. She let go of the swords, remembered the various people who were important to her. Her parents, her guildmates, the family, Nicole, whom she had grown to like a lot, and of course, her brother Arnold, his mischievous smile, weird cosplays, and his creations. Though they never talked much, it felt that she understood him better than the rest of the family. I had never thought that a weirdo would grow up on me, she thought in her last moments. She had a good and privileged life till now and was glad about everything she ever did. She was prepared to die. At this moment, she heard someone shout, "Kill them all." The lion was about to jump at her, when numerous wolf-like creatures jumped over her and started attacking the panther, while a man wearing a black tracksuit was fighting with the lion. Through her fading vision, she saw a figure dressed in black robes, rushing towards her with guns in his hands. Various creatures who were made of stone silently stood behind the man. The man said something to one of the stone creatures as it slowly lifted her off the ground and carried her out of the dungeon. "Be careful." Saying so, she collapsed. "I will," Arnold said, and turned back to face the beasts. Nathan was occupied fighting with the lion-like creature, while Cerberus was leading the attack against the panther. He stared at the blood-soaked floor. Too many people lost their lives here. He saw the lifeless body of Coco. His eyes were still open. Arnold could feel the pain and agony the guy would have felt before dying. Anger and regret consumed Arnold. He felt like something flipped a switch in his mind. Conditions met. Remorse for the dead. Special skill unlocked. Devil's Rage. Active ability, when activated, instantly boosts users' attributes by 400% and resets the cooldown of every ability the user has. The damage taken is reduced by 80%. Furthermore, the ability temporarily boosts the user's rank. The number of ranks boosted is completely arbitrary. Rank can't be measured. Mana cost, none. Cooldown, none. Lifetime usage, 0.6. Additional effect, Devil's Advocate, passive skill. The user is immune to true damage. The effect of this skill is permanent. The skill has been automatically activated. The user won't be charged for the activation cost. Rank has been temporarily boosted to S. Duration, 5 minutes. Underscore, 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 underscore. The dungeon was shrouded in a strong and dark aura. Everything inside the dungeon was overwhelmed by this sudden appearance of such a strong force. Cracks appeared on the walls of the dungeon. Everyone who was concentrated on fighting a moment ago came to a halt. Everyone's attention, foes and friends alike, was fixated upon the source of the ominous aura. Hey Arnold, why you okay? Nathan stuttered for the third time in his life. The first 2 times when it happened, he was sparring against Johnny, who was an SS rank warrior, and right now Arnold's aura seemed just like Johnny's, yet it seemed different. It was way too dark, as if the devil himself was standing in front of his eyes. Arnold didn't reply to Nathan's question and darted in the panther's direction. The panther panicked, but before it could figure out what was happening, Arnold appeared in front of him and grabbed the panther's head before squashing it like a watermelon. The lion saw this, and only one thought ran through his mind. He had to escape. The lion shoved Nathan aside and ran with all his might. He was inches away from the entrance when something grabbed his tail. "Where do you think you're going?" Arnold said in a calm voice, but his eyes were different. They were blood red. The pupils of his eyes were missing. With a single thrust, he threw the lion deeper into the dungeon. "I know you're no beast, because beasts would fight and die. Running away isn't their nature. They won't run away like you. The question is, why would someone attack us? Was it for revenge or for money?" Arnold said as he slowly walked up to the beast. The lion slashed its claws at Arnold, who easily dodged the attack and ripped off the lion's leg with sheer strength. The lion howled in pain as it stumbled down and fell. "You're going to talk now, or shall I rip your body into pieces?" Arnold grabbed the lion's another leg and was about to yank it off when the body of the lion started to change its shape to that of a hairy naked man. He looked more like a werewolf than a lion. Please, don't kill me. We were paid by an anonymous person to kill anyone who enters this dungeon." The naked man stuttered. "Not good enough." Arnold shrugged and ripped off the man's remaining leg. "Come up with a better answer." The man howled in pain and tried to crawl away using his hands. But before he could get far, Arnold pinned the man's right hand with his leg. Please have some mercy. I don't know anything." The man started crying, begging for mercy. "Did you show them any mercy?" Arnold nodded in the direction of Coco's body. "Either way, since you don't have any information, you're better off being dead." "And no. Please forgive me. I'll do anything dash." Before the man could say anything, Arnold snapped his neck with just a finger. He then turned towards Nathan. "Could you leave me alone for a while?" Arnold asked politely. Sure. I'll be waiting outside." Nathan stuttered and walked out of the entrance. Arnold looked at the blood around him. "TSK. Only a fool would waste this opportunity. You've killed a human. EXP plus 200. First rank, a human killed. EXP plus 4,000. You've killed a human. EXP plus 200. An A rank human killed. EXP plus 2,000. You cannot level up. Use the excess EXP to level up your subclass first. You can upgrade the subclass by opening the Information tab and select the subclass you want to upgrade. Without even giving it a thought, Arnold dumped all of the EXP to level up his Blood Maniac subclass by 2 levels. Subclass leveled up. Blood Maniac LVL 5. Rewards: Mana plus 1,000. Int plus 15. Blood Necromancy upgraded to level 5. Blood-borne Intelligence upgraded to level 3. Conversion rate increased to 1 INT. 15 mana. Subclass upgraded to the maximum level. Please rank up to unlock the evolution process. Evolution process? What's that? Arnold asked the system. Once a class/subclass reaches a certain level, the user would have the option of class evolution/subclass evolution. Evolving your class will increase your potential, power, and will unlock a new set of abilities specific to that class/subclass. You also have a chance to unlock mythical affinities. Mythical affinities are one of a kind and can only be unlocked after class evolution. Looks like it's going to be a long journey. He smirked and closed the interface. He had more important matters to attend right now. He conjured up 5 blood runes. His HP went down by 2,000 points, but he didn't care about that, as it was only temporary. Right now, he was only focused on the blood that was spilled around him. He dipped one of the runes into a puddle of blood. The rune started glowing, but this time the inquiry didn't turn blue, it turned golden. He used his probe skill on the rune stone, and a notification popped open as usual. Object. Blood rune activated. Type. Blood crystal. Grade A. Remark. An extremely rare crystal which can be used to generate an ability from blood monsters, humans, and any other sentient beings. The rune contains Torment ability, Chant of Negation ability, Beast's Howl ability, Sonic Bolt ability, Total Defense ability. Limit reached. Blood rune cannot extract more than 5 abilities. Underscore. So that means one stone can hold up to 5 abilities, and I, being the stupid as asterisk idiot, kept using them after they extracted a single skill. He smacked his head as he used another blood rune to extract the ability from the dead man's body. Once it was done, he used his probe skill on the golden rune. Rare ability obtained. EXP plus 200. The rune contains Transformation ability. Looks like a blood rune can only hold 1 rare ability. I'll figure out how to use this later. He glanced at the body of the panthers, one which were apparently killed by Talos, who was turned into scrap. He quickly used the 3 remaining blood runes on the blood of the panthers and the dead man to gain 3 more blood runes, carrying transformation ability. Even though Arnold didn't know much about the mage, still he felt a bit sad for him. But when he looked at Coco, he was hit on a different level. After all, Coco was a porter, just like him. If it wasn't for the system, even Arnold could have ended like this someday. No point reminiscing now. He shook his head. I already have a vague idea of who is behind all of this, and I'll make sure they pay for what they've done. He then placed all of the activated blood runes in his inventory and ordered 3 of his golems to take the dead bodies of Coco, the mage, and Talos, and wait outside. He still needed to figure out what to do with the dead bodies of the assassins, as the dungeon would soon close. Generally, the dungeons remained open till 6 hours after the boss had been defeated, but he didn't know how long had it been since the boss was defeated. To know the accurate duration, one would have to contact the PRSD research department to know the actual duration. He was completely clueless, but the system immediately cleared his doubts. The dungeon would remain open for 126 hours. And how do you know that? Arnold asked the system. underscore 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 underscore. The dungeons leak an ominous energy, which continuously decreases as the time passes. This energy can be used to deduce the remaining duration of the dungeon. Underscore 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 underscore. Your utility exceeds my expectations every time dash. Arnold, Nathan interrupted. Father has summoned you for a meeting with the family. They're trying to figure out who is the mastermind of this attack, and they think you would be able to provide some information about it. What about them? Arnold pointed his head towards the body of the man and the Panthers. The police and ambulances are in their way. We should leave it to them. Nathan replied. Do you trust them? What do you mean? Nathan asked. When I was attacked and Nicole nearly got kidnapped, the battle lasted for like 20 to 25 minutes. The police would have taken around 10 to 15 minutes to reach there as the police station wasn't very far. But they reached at the scene after an hour. Moreover, he usually patrolled the area every night, but on that evening, not a single car was patrolling the neighborhood. All the attribute points he had been spending to increase his intelligence was finally showing their effect. Arnold could now clearly connect the dots, which had been hidden before. So, you trying to say is that they're involved in it? I'm not 100% sure, but yes, most probably they are. So what do you suggest we do? First, let's destroy everything and take the bodies with us. I'm sure someone in the family would be able to extract some information from them. And then we head to the meeting. I think I've figured out who is behind this. Arnold's voice was calm, but on the inside, he was seething with rage. I heard it was a beast attack. Todd Black, the head of the Branch family, asked. Nathan and Arnold went to take care of the problem. They might be able to provide us some more information. Nathaniel replied. They were currently seated in the meeting room, which was used to hold secretive meetings for the family. The black walls were soundproof and were made using beast crystals, thus the walls were super strong. Even Johnny might break a sweat before destroying it. Furthermore, various jammers were placed inside the room. This was done as a precaution so that no one inside is able to leak any information about the ongoing meetings to the outside. Apart from the heads of the families, Steve, the head of the security, Seville, the leader of the Black Knights, and Johnny were also present inside the meeting room. Arnold doesn't ring a bell. Todd replied. A young lad I'm planning to adopt. Nathaniel replied. He must be some dash. Before Todd could say anything else, the door leading to the meeting room was opened as Nathan and Arnold appeared. Arnold was dragging a bag behind him. Sorry we're late. Nathan spoke as both of them took their seats. So is it really a beast attack? Nathaniel asked Nathan, who nodded towards Arnold. Arnold then opened the bag and threw it on the circular table. A foul smell immediately covered the room. Everyone placed a handkerchief on their nose. Nathaniel looked inside the bag. A dead body of man was inside it. It looked like he had died in a painful way because his face was twisted in agony. Who is this? Todd asked in a muffled voice. One of the assassins. Arnold calmly replied, a shapeshifter. I think he was around a rank. Everyone was impressed with Nathan, as he was the only a ranked warrior who could have done something like this. The respect they had for Nathan immediately shot up. Nathan knew what everyone was thinking and without any delay, cleared the confusion. It wasn't me who did this. It was him. Everyone was shocked. How the hell did a nobody manage to kill an A-ranked shapeshifter? No kill would be the wrong term. Butcher would have been the more suitable term for this situation. Are you sure that this dead guy was an A-ranked shapeshifter? Seville asked Arnold. Nathan can confirm it as he was the one fighting with him. Arnold pointed his thumb towards the body bag. Before I stepped in, just who does he think he is? Seville thought. He looked at Nathaniel and Johnny, who didn't look half as surprised as the others. Before the others could digress from the main objective of the meeting, Nathaniel stepped in. How many assassins were there? 3, Nathan replied. All had the same ability and rank. HM, Nathaniel nodded his head. Find out who they were and why did they attack us. We know already, Nathan said. They were mercenaries hired to kill anyone who entered the dungeon. They had already killed all of the monsters inside and placed jammers all around the dungeon so that the ones inside the dungeon won't be able to contact anyone outside the dungeon. After that, they patiently waited for the team to show up and attack them. There were 2 casualties on our side, a mage named Rick and a porter, Coco. Nina and Joshua were heavily injured. The others were also in danger, but they'll recover soon. What about the others who were supposed to guard the dungeon? Todd asked Seville, as it was one of his duties to appoint the security personnel who had to protect the dungeon and stop anyone else from entering the dungeon while the warriors were inside, trying to clear it. If you don't mind me asking, how many guards were there? Arnold asked back. Look, kid, I appreciate what you did, but that doesn't give you any authority to ask Dash. Seville spoke up, but Johnny stopped him. Just answer the question. Seville was immediately taken aback by Johnny's behavior. He knew if he told the others, he'd have been done for, but he didn't have a choice. If he lied, Nathaniel would immediately knew about it because of his mind-reading powers. He could try to block him from his mind, but then he'll be tagged as a conspirator, which he was. 3 people in total, 2 girls and a guy. Take a good look at the corpse. Was this the guy? Arnold asked. Damn this kid. Maybe he knows more than he's letting us believe. I'm already done for, Seville thought. Everyone was staring at him. My God, it is him, Seville gasped, trying his best not to blow his cover. It's the one who was Dash. But before he could say anything else, Johnny grabbed him by his neck and lifted him off the ground. Seville was frantically trying to free himself from Johnny's grasp, but it was in vain. How dare you betray the family? Johnny barked, tightening his grip around Seville's neck. Johnny, let go of him. Nathaniel spoke in a calm demeanor, and Johnny immediately let go of him. Now, Seville, I don't know whether you're involved in this or not, but till we figure it out, you'll be placed in custody. Nathaniel said, But I didn't do anything. Seville shouted as he fell hard on his, but, trying to block me from reading your feeble mind and saying you don't know anything? You couldn't have done anything to prove that you're guilty. Well, if my mind can't find the answers, then we'll have to use other means, right? Nathaniel pressed a button under the table, and 20 guards entered the room and immediately surrounded Seville. Nathaniel's mind-reading capabilities reminded Arnold of a bald white man who used a wheelchair to move around, had a mansion full of superhumans, and insisted that everyone called him Professor X something. Take care of the gentleman, Steve said, and the guards immediately handcuffed Seville and escorted him out. Who would have thought Seville would betray us? Nathaniel sighed. It might take some time to interrogate him. We'll have to wait for the time being, before he reveals who he was working for. Good job, Arnold. Nathan, the family is indebted to you. Why wait when I already know who's behind all this? Arnold spoke up. What do you mean? Nathan was intrigued about what was Arnold going to say next. It's the same person or organization that attacked me before. Who? The president or the vice president of Flying Swords Guild? And what makes you say that? Do you have any proof? Honestly, it's a hunch. But it's a hunch I'm willing to act on. Look, Arnold, I know what you're trying to say. But we can't just attack a governmental guild based on a hunch. We need proof before we act. The best thing we can do is to wait till Seville reveals some information. Wait and let them kill anyone they like. Arnold lost his cool. You always keep talking about family this, family that. But you're hesitating to attack the ones who threaten your family's safety? Do you think they'll stop now? Once they find out their plan failed, they'll most probably try to attack us again. How many people are you willing to sacrifice just so you can get a proof? I'm not asking you to kill them all, no. But I'll definitely kill anyone who threatens my family, and that's for sure. You can throw me out of the family if you like, but they crossed the line, and they'll pay the price. I don't care if I die fighting them alone. It would still be better than standing here and waiting for them to do as they please. I won't let them kill anyone else. I'm going. You guys feel free to wait for the evidence. After ranting for a while, Arnold got up from his seat and turned to leave. No, you won't. Johnny's voice echoed behind Arnold. Johnny, I owe you a lot, but please don't stop me now, Arnold said without turning to face him. Who said anything about stopping you? I just wanted to say that you don't have to fight alone. I'm coming with you, Johnny replied, getting up from his seat. So am I. Nathan spoke up. Nathaniel saw this all happening in front of his eyes. It was the first time any of his children disobeyed his orders, and worst thing was, he couldn't do anything about it. Nathaniel gave up and smiled. If you're going to do this, then you'll need help. Steve, assemble everyone having B rank or above. If there's going to be a war, then it's going to be a proper one. Arnold, Nathan, and Johnny looked at each other and smiled. As the saying goes, you reap what you sow. Time for some long-awaited payback. Arnold mumbled as he clenched his fists. Why haven't those idiots called yet? The president of the guild was getting more desperate as every moment passed. You don't need to worry, sir. They are professionals. Jake replied in his calm and emotionless voice. Jake's reply didn't calm the president. He was already imagining the worst-case scenario. The assassins regularly called him to give the report of their plan. Last time they called him when they were about to attack the targets. This report was given to him 5 hours ago, and after that they went completely silent. Furthermore, they always called him with a different number, thus he had no way of contacting them unless they contacted him first. He had already paid a substantial price to recruit them, so he knew they would fulfill his request. According to Jake, they were a group of professional killers who have yet to fail. But still he had a weird feeling that he couldn't shake off. What about the police? Have they uncovered something? The president asked Jake. They're on their way. Jake replied, something is wrong. I can feel it. The president mumbled and leaned back into his chair. Something is definitely wrong. Call everyone to assemble at the guild. Every warrior, researcher, hell, some of the porters too. Sir, rest assured, nothing will be able to harm you while you're inside the guild. Jake tried his best to calm down his president, but he was having none of it. In the end, then, the president was just a mortal who feared for his life. Jake had never seen his boss in such a state. Even though the president was worried about the attack, Jake couldn't think about a single scenario in which someone would figure out and link the dungeon incident to the guild. Even if the assassins failed to do the job, they wouldn't be able to disclose any information because they knew nothing. As long as the pay was good, the assassins won't even care if someone paid them to assassinate the world leaders themselves. The only loophole he could think of was Seville, the guild master/president of the Black Knights. Seville informed them about the dungeon. The party members, as well as the security detail, they needed to know in order to make their plan and execute it successfully. Seville told them that the family would never be suspicious of his actions. But Jake had already known that Seville was just flexing. While they were out drinking and finalizing the plan, Jake had slipped the agency's Superscript 1 newest invention in Seville's drink. It was nanomites, a small but powerful device which, when activated, can increase their size and block the arteries of the heart, stopping the blood flow in the body, thus stimulating in cardiac arrest, and in case someone tried to perform autopsy on the dead body, the nanomites would explode. Furthermore, he just needed to press a button to do so. The range on this thing was pretty impressive too. He could activate it as long as the target was within a radius of 150 kilometers. He had planned on activating it once the assassins report in and informed them about their success. But since they were taking so long, he decided to activate it as a failsafe. He pressed the button thinking. He had taken care of all the loopholes, but what he didn't know was Seville was being held in cell made with a special beast crystal which bounced any incoming signal. Seville was placed in the cell because of a little odd chance that if the conspirators were tracking him, they won't be able to know his location. But unknown to anyone, placing him in the cell ended up saving his life. Just call everyone in. The president ordered Jake again. It's already been taken care of, sir. All 259 warriors affiliated with the guild have been summoned. Jake replied, right now we have 18A ranked, 48B ranked, 69C ranked, and 120D ranked warriors among our ranks. Not to mention the 4S and S plus ranked warriors, including of you, the VP, myself, and that guy. Jake pointed a finger at the man who was standing near the door. He was the first successful specimen of the Inhuman Project. It was Bob. But his appearance had completely changed. He looked more like a monster than a human. Most of his body parts had been replaced by the body parts of various monsters and beasts, which increased his power and potential, this making him a S-ranked being. He was wearing a white robe to cover up his inhuman body. Don't worry, Mr. President. As long as I'm alive, no one would be able to touch you, Bob said in an unconcerned voice. All he could think of were ways to smash Arnold. If that BA asterisk tard shows up, I'll personally take care of him. The president quickly nodded twice or thrice and immediately turned away. He should have been thankful to Bob, but whenever he looked at him, his face got filled with disgust. When he had asked the leader for help, he never thought he'd actually send someone S-ranked. He thought that it was a gesture from the leader to appreciate his worth. However, in reality, the leader just wanted to test the combat efficiency of the new specimen and nothing else. If Bob was successful in his mission, then he could say that the Inhuman Project was successful. If not, then Bob will have to go through more modifications and pain until he gets successful. Even after becoming so much stronger, Bob couldn't dare to move against the leader, because his body was filled with nanomites and the leader had the trigger to activate it. The moment the leader thought something was up, all he needed to do was to press the button and that'll be it for him. Till he figured out a way to take care of the nanomites inside his body. He had to remain as an ideal pet to the leader. The president got up from his seat and opened the safe which was hidden below the desk and took out the 2 swords which were hidden inside it. Yes, this should be enough. We'll be leaving in 12 hours. That is at 3 a.m. Please finish your preparations by then. Steve informed Arnold. Please tell everyone not to disturb me during this time, Arnold said as he pushed a trolley into his makeshift workshop. Don't worry, no one will disturb you because everyone is busy preparing themselves, Steve replied and made way for Arnold's summons who were busy moving the rest of the materials Arnold had asked for. Since they were going to war, he was allowed to use as many resources as he needed. Nathaniel was the one to give the order, hence no one questioned Arnold as he took 35 yellow soul crystals, kilos upon kilos of different types of metals, defensive gears, and whatnot. While his golems were busy bringing the items he had acquired, Arnold took out the equipments and immediately started repairing the broken Talos. Even though it looked like Talos was trashed and completely broken, most of his systems were still intact, and thus Arnold was able to repair him in less than an hour. Once Talos was online and functioning, he immediately ordered him to learn the construction blueprint of automatons to help him in constructing as many automatons as they could within 12 hours. Usually it would take Arnold 12 hours to make one automaton, but with the help of Talos, he was able to finish his second automaton in 4 hours. He didn't have the time to name this new creation, thus he lazily named him T2. Talos was like an assembly line himself. Although the grade of the automatons constructed by him were lower than the one system provided, the speed of construction was way more efficient, thus Arnold decided to make use of Talos' abilities instead. Right now, Arnold needed quantity more than the quality, because he knew that most of the warriors affiliated by Flying Swords Guild were either of rank B or lower, just like his summons and automatons. He ordered T2 to learn basic engineering knowledge and help Talos to create more automatons while he took care of the blood runes that he had acquired in the dungeon. He called out Duke and Cerberus and gave both of them a blood rune having the transformation ability. He had already used the probe skill to get more information regarding the transformation ability. Transformation active ability. After being used, the user gains the ability to transform into a being either slain by the user or the user has a DNA sample of that being with him/her. The user also has the choice to transition between up to 4 different types of being. Once the user transforms into a being, he/she has to retain that form for 1 day, 24 hours. If the user needed to transition to another being while he/she had already activated this ability once, then they had to wait for 2 hours before they could do so. Author's note: this duration is to be considered as the ability's cooldown. Rank S. Mana cost. Cooldown 2 hours. __. The moment Arnold used the blood runes on Duke and Cerberus, their bodies started changing, their size got bigger and bigger. Soon their appearance completely changed. The ones before him weren't Cerberus and Duke that he knew anymore. Instead, they looked like a giant white lion and a hooded reaper. Arnold got intimidated by the way Reaper started at him. Lots of bad memories that were pushed back in his head came rushing forward. Arnold gulped down his saliva as the undead Reaper once again stood in front of him. This was the first dungeon boss Arnold had ever fought and nearly got killed while doing so. Even though Arnold had survived the fight, he was still a little bit scared of the Reaper. He used the probe skill on the Reaper. Underthor. Name, Duke. Form, Undead Reaper. One more form's available. 2 forms can be added. Level, 74. Rank A. Role, Frost Golem. Affinity / abilities. Magic Hand active skill. Dark Vision active skill. Demon Blitz active skill. Chant of Negation active skill. Expand to view for more. HP 5,000 of 5,000. Mana 3,000 of 3,000. Strength STR 96. Defense Def 86. Stamina STA 88. Intelligence Int 65. Agility AGI 70. Accuracy ACC 85. Evade EVED 54. Charisma CHA 12. Arnold was still analyzing the Reaper when all of a sudden the Reaper bowed down to him. Arnold, who was afraid of the Reaper a moment ago, was now smiling like he never had. After all, even if the Reaper was the one bowing down to him, it was Duke who had transformed into the Reaper. He looked at the giant lion, who was rubbing its head on Arnold's hand. Name, Cerberus. Form, White Chimera. 1 more form's available. 3 forms can be added. Level, 74. Rank A. Role, Lava Hound. Affinity / abilities. Hell's Guard active skill. Beast Howl active skill. Chant of Negation active skill. Expand to view for more. HP 5190 / 5190. Mana 3680 / 3680. Strength STR 95. Defense Def 82. Stamina ST 88. Intelligence Int 71. Agility AGI 85. Accuracy ACC 70. Evade EVED 68. Charisma CHA 48. This transformation ability is quite scary. Even if it was scary, Arnold already knew what he had to do with the remaining blood rune, having the transformation ability. He looked at Talos, who was busy working with 02 to make another automaton. He gave the remaining rune to him and whispered something. After Arnold was done talking, Talos returned to finish the automaton, while Arnold opened up the shop to purchase the ability he had been eyeing for a while. The ability he wanted to buy was really expensive and had a price of 10 yellow soul crystal. But if he bought this skill, it would solve many problems he had. He selected the ability book and bought it. The next moment, a notification popped up on the interface. You've selected Void Domain ability. Do you want to learn Void Domain? Yes or no? Yes. Request acknowledged. Learning. You've successfully acquired the Void Domain ability. You've unlocked new abilities. Void Domain, active ability, advanced ability 4, Cosmic Creationist class. This ability helps the user to summon the Void Domain, which is the domain in which user summons live in. The user can use this ability to enter the Void Domain or place different items into it. Time flow inside the domain is thrice as fast as the regular world, meaning if you spend a day inside the domain, only 8 hours would have passed in the real world. Unlike your inventory, there's no limit to the number, size, or type, organic / inorganic matter, of items that can be placed inside the void. Rank A. Mana cost. Cooldown. From the moment he had obtained the Blood Maniac subclass, he was in a constant need of blood to unlock new abilities for his summons, and there was only one source to obtain blood for his use: a human body. He had previously tried to add organic matter into his inventory, but apparently he could only store inorganic matter in his inventory, and there was a size restriction on it too. But his newly acquired Void Domain ability didn't have those restrictions. Hell, he could store the moon inside it if he could find a way to do so. Moreover, it also solved his problem of transportation, the automatons. He could just put them inside the domain and call them out to battle wherever he wanted to, just like his summons. After learning the ability, he used 4 yellow soul crystals to buy 2 medium attribute enhancing potion. He quickly drank both of the potions and gained 48 attribute points. He now had 56 attribute points. He dumped 30 points into Mystic Stat, 10 to his intelligence, 6 to increase his strength, and the remaining 10 points to increase his evasion. He then used the remaining beast crystals to buy some weapons and gears for his summons and automatons. Time is of the essence. Let's get back to work, Arnold said, and started working on another automaton. 3:15 a.m., near the Flying Swords Guild. Snore. Dude, stop snoring. Rick, a C-ranked warrior who was affiliated with the Flying Swords Guild, said. He was inside a dimly lit building in the vicinity of the headquarters of their guild. They were the first wall of defense for the guild and were there to fulfill the purpose of an alarm. Their main task was to alert the guild about any unknown and suspicious people that approached the guild and stall then for some time until the backup arrived. They had been sitting here for 10 hours, but nothing out of the ordinary happened. They had been paired up with someone of their team. It was Rick's bad luck that he was paired up with Sung, one of the laziest person he had ever met. No matter how much he tried, this fatso kept snoring. Snore. You're irritating me now. Rick warned Sung for the last time. Snore. All right, that's enough, Rick said as his fist started to glow. He then lightly punched Sung in the stomach. The punch didn't have much force, but it was sufficient to wake him up. Sung opened his eyes the moment Rick's punch hit him. He glared at Rick as if he was going to break his bones, but before he could do anything, his eyes rolled backwards. The white of his eyes appeared, and Sung immediately collapsed on the ground. What's wrong? Rick checked on Sung. Thankfully, the son of AB *TCH was still breathing. I don't think it was because of my punch. It was barely enough to knock down a goblin. No way a tank like Sung would get knocked out by such a feeble punch. You're correct. Your punch didn't do much, I did. A woman appeared out of the shadow. You be *TCH. I'll kill you. Rick charged his fists. They were glowing brighter than before. He had to alert the guild first, but he didn't have enough time to do so. Nah, I don't think so. She smiled as her eyes went black. The next moment, Rick started feeling weird. He covered his mouth and began coughing. Blood came out of his mouth and seeped through the gap of his fingers. He coughed with so much force that his blood splashed on the wall in front of him. His eyes went blank and his complexion looked pale. What did you do to me? Rick mumbled as he fell on his knees. Nothing much. Pretty boys like you always have a weak mind. Generally, it's their nose that starts bleeding when they see my charm, but I guess you're something special. It's only fair I gift you something special, too. The woman lifted his head up and passionately kissed his bloody lips. Rick's mind went blank as he felt electricity passing through his mouth and flowing into his body. His innards were fried within moments. After making sure that Rick had died, the woman dressed in black jumpsuit finally let go of him. Ah, now that's what I call a true kiss of death. Her body was filled with pleasure. This was so much better than making love with someone. But before she could enjoy it further, her communicator rang. She saw the caller's name and let out a heavy sigh. Layla, report in. Yes, Steve, what is it? Layla replied. First of all, you have to address me as sir, and second, what's the status at your end? Steve was made the in charge of the entire operation against the Flying Swords. West Wing has been cleared, but there has been a casualty. Layla licked her lips as she looked at Rick's dead body. It was an accident, sir. He charged at me, and I had to protect myself. She lied. I strictly told you to be careful with your powers. It was one of our objectives to minimize the casualties. Steve barked through the communicator. I'll try to refrain myself. You better do that. You've already killed 4 warriors for God's sake. After ranting for a while, Steve finally ended the feed. TSK, why call me for the operation if I'm not even allowed to kill my enemies? I'm an assassin, not a babysitter. Layla was a member of the Black family's assassins crew called the Guardians. They were expert in stealth, and their skills were best suited for assassinations. The family had used their abilities to suppress countless enemies over many years. The influence of the family was huge, and thus the family had many enemies who wouldn't hesitate for a second before destroying them. This was the reason why the family had formed the group called Guardians to protect them from danger and silence their opponents. Their stealth and combat proficiency were the reason why Steve had called upon them to scout out the area around the guild and suppress any danger before the family's main force declared an attack on the guild. Looks like I can't kill anyone anymore. Layla sighed and went to suppress another target. Back at the Black Estate, Steve was sitting in the control room along with Nathaniel and Todd. A team of 58 people were actively helping out the scout team to locate and suppress the enemy lookouts. So, Nathaniel asked Steve, "Sir, with the increased security around the guild, it seems like the kid's hunch was right on the mark. It's like every single person who is affiliated by the guild is present to protect something or someone." Steve replied. Todd slammed his fists on the table. These pests actually dared to attack the family. Calm down, Todd. Your anger is justified, but it wouldn't help us to win this battle. Nathaniel said, "How long will it take the Guardians to clear the area?" "Around 40 minutes. We still haven't found the position of many lookout teams." Steve replied, "HM, tell the Guardians that they have 10 minutes to suppress as many opponents as they can, and after that send in Johnny's team. It's not like they'll be able to stop an SS-ranked warrior with a dozen A-ranked warriors. Moreover, he isn't alone. Nathan, Arnold, and many more are there to back him up. The war was about to begin. Please excuse my intrusion, brother, but don't you think it would be a bit rash? I mean, what if the state police gets involved in it?" Todd said, "As far as I'm considered, those Bast *RDS are already involved in this, and if they intervene, then I guess we'll have no choice to shut them up. After all, what's the use of having special privileges that have been granted to us by the law if we never abuse them?" Nathaniel said in a matter-of-fact tone, "We've been too lenient with the people in our jurisdiction. It's time we reminded them who is the king of this jungle." Hearing this, Steve immediately gave new orders to the Guardians as well as Johnny's team. "Why is it so silent all of a sudden?" Jake asked the guild manager. "We don't know. Most of the teams aren't responding." The manager replied. Jake sighed heavily. He knew that the low-ranked members wouldn't last for a minute against a full frontal attack from the Black family. That's why he decided to spread everyone who was ranked C or lower around the guild's vicinity, hoping that even if they couldn't fight against the enemies, at least they'll be able to alert the guild about them. But hell, his alarms kept dropping like twigs from a tree. They were no match for the family. He had underestimated his opponent's strength. Lock down the entire guild. Close all entrances and exits. Tell everyone to be on guard and prepare for battle. No one enters or leaves until I say so. Jake barked his orders. The A-team will protect the president and the VP. You're in charge of the other warriors. Yes, sir, the guild manager said, and went on with giving orders to the rest of the surveillance team as Jake walked out of the room. They moved sooner than I expected, but it's all according to the plan. A vicious smile appeared on his usually emotionless face. I can feel it. I'm about to break the limit. Just a few more kills, and I'll finally have enough power to... So, I guess they're really attacking us. A feminine voice came from behind. Apparently they are. Ms. Maya. Is the VP inside? Yes, he's inside, along with Ms. Alice. He's afraid that something might happen to her. After all, she could be one is the targets. I just can't think of any reason for one of the 12 families to attack us. Do you know something, Jake? Stop annoying me and get out of my way before I kill you. That's what Jake wanted to say, but these weren't the words that came out of his mouth. I'm as clueless as you are. Now, if you don't mind, can I go inside? Jake lied. Of course, he knew why the Black family was attacking them, but Maya didn't have to know it. If the VP didn't reveal anything to her, then why would he? Not like the VP knew about the attack the president had planned either. Of course, the vice president had been expecting you, Maya said, and opened the door to the vice president's office. Look at those Bast *RDS. They think shutting their doors would protect them. Colt laughed off. Our plan is ruined now. How will we enter into the building now? Boo-hoo. Everyone inside the chopper burst into laughter. Colt was an ex-Marine and a member of the 6-man team that Johnny had assembled as the main force to attack the guild. The team included Johnny, Colt, Aiden, Azariah, Nathan, and Arnold. Colt, Aiden, and Azariah were all S-ranked warriors and had been working under Johnny for a long time. In fact, they joined the family together. Their objective was simple: kidnap the president or the vice president and eliminate anyone who stood in their way, and after that, burn the entire place down to cover their tracks. Enough, Colt. We're on a mission, not a comedy show, although that was a good one. Johnny said. Azariah, how many people are in there? Around 75 people. I can feel 4S+ ranked energy signals, a dozen or so A-ranked, and the rest are B-ranked. Azariah replied. She was one of the best psychic mages of the country. When people heard she was a mage, they often thought that she would be physically weak and hence easy to deal with, but they were wrong. Azariah was once a mixed martial artist and had represented USA in many global competition. Of course, this was before she awakened her powers as a psychic mage and gave up on her ambition to be the #1 mixed martial artist, as warriors weren't allowed to compete in those events. According to the intel, there should have been only 3S ranked or above warriors, not 4. Nathan spoke up. Hey man, just chill. All we need to do is to kidnap a couple of guys. Moreover, Johnny can take care of 2S+ warriors himself. Aiden said, as if he was rapping. Don't forget that around 150 guys are waiting around the guild to attack as soon as we launch the attack, yo. Aiden was once a world-renowned rapper who had worked with many artists around the globe. But he had to give up on his career when his voice became his secret weapon destruction. Due to his ability to manipulate his voice to superhuman levels, he was nicknamed as the Howler Monkey Superscript 1. Only earplugs made of special monster materials were able to block his shrieking voice. Fortunately, all of them had a pair of earplugs with them. Aiden's right. One additional S rank would be able to do much in our presence. Johnny agreed. But I'm afraid I'll have to forbid you and Arnold from intervening between our fights. Once we get inside, you guys will have to aid the reinforcements and take care of the A and B ranked warriors within enemies' ranks. If you stay with us, you'll only hold us back, so it'll be better if we take care of them while you defeat the low-ranked Bast *RDS. I know you want to do this yourself. He looked at Arnold, who was busy staring at the guild through the open doors of the helicopter. But trust me on this. I'll make them pay. I know you would. Arnold mumbled, but didn't look towards Johnny or the others. Johnny nodded and turned towards the pilot, who flew towards the top of the guild's headquarters. Looks like it's going to be a long fight. Even foresight didn't show me much. Arnold thought and let out a heavy sigh. He had just used his foresight ability to see if he could get some information to help him counter his enemies. But he could only see himself fighting some A and B ranked warriors along with Nathan and few other warriors. At least I'll get some EXP for defeating so many warriors. It'll help me upgrade my subclasses, and maybe I'll get some new abilities while I'm at it. Author's note. From now on, I'll use single quotes to show what a character is thinking, while the double quotes will have the usual meaning. Arnold was still lost in his thoughts when Johnny said something. But trust me on this. I'll make them pay. I know you would. Arnold mindlessly mumbled, but didn't look towards Johnny or the others. But something feels off. Isn't this all going too well for us? Feels like someone wants us to attack the guild right now. The pilot flew towards the top of the guild's headquarters and kept hovering over it, as per Johnny's command. Remember, I'll break through the roof. Aiden, Colt, and Azariah will follow me, and we'll attack the high-ranked officials. Nathan and Arnold, you guys will take care of the A-ranked and B-ranked warriors. Don't worry about the enemy numbers. As soon as the attack begins, our warriors who have surrounded the building would simultaneously rush in and soon will overwhelm the enemies. Any questions? I think it's too late to have any questions. Just jump out already. Colt shouted at Johnny, who shrugged and jumped out of the chopper, followed by everyone else. 3:49 a.m. inside the guild. Tut tut tut. The guild was in chaos. Everyone was running around, making some final preparations before the attack began. All of them had a single question in their minds. Why would the Black family attack them? Even after brainstorming for hours, all they could come up with was that it was somehow related to the Malibu Club incident, but they themselves highly doubted it. After all, why would one of the 12 elite families attack them for such a petty reason? Moreover, hadn't they already settled it by attacking Chris? They knew that if the family was really serious about the attack, then they had no chance of stopping their strong warriors, but they were being forced to do it. When they got the call from the guild, they weren't informed who they were going to face. Had they known they were about to battle with one of the elite families, they'd never have responded to the call. They could always find work as long as they were alive. The guild was nothing special. Damn those idiots. Why do they have to mess up with a goddamned family? One of the warriors tasked with guarding the ground floor cursed the officials under his breath. I'm sure the president or the vice president did something to piss them off and will have to pay the price for it. Why are you guys staring at me like that? His fellow guild members immediately went silent and pointed as if someone was standing behind him. He quickly turned around to unleash his sword skill, but before he could react, his head had already struck the ground. His sword slipped out his hand. The man holding him down picked up his sword and stabbed his back. So you have problem defending the place and the people who gave you money and status to live in peace. The guild did so much for you, and yet you dare to curse it and its people. Jake questioned the warrior as he pushed the sword deeper into his body. People like you disgust me the most. People like you just know how to reap benefits from others. And as soon as you're asked for something in return, you start running away with your tail between your legs. But don't worry, I'll teach you the lesson of loyalty for a price, the price of your life. Jake smiled and pushed sword into the warrior's body with all his might. Die for me. His sickening laughter echoed in the hall. As the warrior's teammates saw their teammates vary, soon his eyes turned white as his soul left his body. After the deed was done, Jake slowly got up and looked at the others who were standing in front of him. You might survive if you fight for the guild, but if you as much as speak ill about the guild or try to betray it or its people, I'll kill you. And then Jake snapped his fingers and the dead warrior slowly raised his head. You'll end up like him. The warriors standing in front of him immediately kneeled before him and said in unison, W will and never be betray you or T the G guild. P please forgive us. Make sure to defend the guild with your last breath, or else you know what will happen. Jake kicked the warriors kneeling in front of him and walked away as the zombified warrior from before got up and silently followed him. The warriors stared in shock at the horror that was in front of their eyes. Their teammate wasn't the only one who was zombified. Nearly everyone who has been sent out as scouts to alert the guild in case of invasion had been killed and turned into a zombified soldier. Jake had sent out only a fraction of the warriors outside as per his plan, while he had secretly killed the rest of the low-ranked warriors. TSK, who need low-ranked living warriors when I can kill them and increase their potential manifolds. This dual-class ability isn't too bad. Is it Madam's system? Jake asked as a notification appeared in front of his eyes. Underscore It isn't, my lord. If you keep following my directions, you'll soon become the proud vassal of the dead one. Vassal. Indeed, the unimaginable power shall be mine.